Smitty, do we freak out about Breece Hall? Is Breece Hall out for the season because he's going on the PUP list right now? Smitty, is he out 4, 6, 8, 10 weeks? Are we freaking out?
All of you are DMing me like crazy, and I don't blame you. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to tuck you in at night. I'm here to whisper sweet fantasy football nothings in your earbud as you fall asleep at night. And I'm also here to go live whenever news breaks and calm the storm, so to speak. Sometimes acknowledge a piece of news and say, yeah, there's something to this. And other times, my job is to literally go, okay, time to go live, time to talk about the breaking news at hand, and time to calm the storm. People don't understand what the PUP list is and how it works and why it's used, the way it's used throughout the offseason. Pacheco landed on the PUP list yesterday. Pacheco's not in danger of missing week 1 or anything. This is a move that teams make as they cycle through their roster, try and retain as many people for as long as they can to work out what's going on. And the PUP list is an advantage for teams to say, hey, Breece is doing this, Breece is doing that. Let's put him on the PUP, and we can evaluate other guys for a little bit longer. I'm here to break it down. I'm here to calm the storm. Breece Hall is going to the moon. Don't worry. But let me give you more about it right now. The Fantasy Football Show is kicking off right here. Hit that like button on the way in the door.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Smitty, I'm so worried. I'm petrified, Peter. And I see this news break across my screen on my app, Smitty. It says Breece Hall's on the PUP. I know it. Is it time to reevaluate?
I can't tell you how many DMs I've gotten that say, is it time to knock him down? Are we knocking him down? What's this mean? Guys, the PUP, first of all, let's read the news and then we'll break it all down. Because this is no different than Pacheco yesterday. Why are people freaking out? Now, I will say this is great. At the end of the day, when there's a knee-jerk reaction like this, thank you, Deckard. Deckard says, can't wait to hear Scared Scott. At the end of the day, when something like this happens and there's a knee-jerk reaction, everybody and their mother, just a total knee-jerk reaction. What it does is it creates opportunity for you, for me, for people that are astute and people that went to college to learn from the fantasy football knowledge that is Sleeper U and the Fantasy Football College here at the show. You guys know what time it is, but every once in a while, you need a little push in the right direction. I'm getting a ton of DMs right now, like a crazy amount. Smitty, do we reevaluate? Hall suffered a torn ACL in Week 7 last year and will be on the sidelines to begin training camp. The Jets can remove him from the PUP list at any time before the start of the season. If he isn't ready to go, this is just clarifying, okay? If he isn't ready to go by the cut-down deadline at the end of August, he's been virtually way ahead of schedule and looking fantastic. So understand what this is trying to clarify. In a worst case setback, he suffers a setback. He gets out of bed, slips on a Nintendo Switch, and aggravates his knee or something. They will move him to the reserve PUP list. He will be required to miss 4 games if that happens. If he falls on a Nintendo Switch or trips over, a dog and bangs his knee, and they put him on the PUP, the reserve PUP list, he will be required to miss 4 games. This is what Javonte Williams owners need to be worried about, not Breece Hall. Breece Hall can be taken off tomorrow. He can be taken off in 3 days. Teams love the ability to just have more players to evaluate at this time when Breece is still doing some rehab. He's not full go yet. But it is July. We don't want him full go. We want him continuing to rehab and getting his quad stronger. Your quad strength is very much tied to your knee stability. You want to have the surrounding muscles that kind of wrap around the top part of the thigh and right here that really tighten this joint, because when you have an ACL recovery, You have some lax that goes on. Your quad strength is so tied to it. The muscles that kind of wrap around the entire knee and keep it tight. That knee joint staying tight is how nothing ever tears. So he's working on quad strength. He's working on getting his burst back. He's working on getting his mind right for trusting and going right and going left and cutting, because he severed the connection between his brain and his knee. And believe it or not, I've tore my ACL. It takes a little time to get your body to reestablish a quick connection to the knee, so that when you say cut, you cut immediately. Instead of going cut, 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 are you going to cut? And then you just cut. It's crazy how your mind works and how the body responds. He's rehabbing, people. He's rehabbing. But this is great. This is great that a lot of even my people are freaking out about it, because if you guys are freaking out about it, and I haven't trained you enough to understand, especially after yesterday with Pacheco. Like, Pacheco's on the PUP. We already said, not a big deal. He can be taken off at any time. This is to evaluate other players. It's to keep as many people in your parking lot as long as possible. And Pacheco's not ready to do some of the things you need him to do right now. Doesn't mean he won't be ready for week 1. It's July 19. It's July 19. Pacheco had shoulder surgery on his torn labrum. The seal that keeps the ball in the socket. Okay, the ball in socket. We break this down all the time here on the channel. You've got the ball in the socket. The labrum is like a little seal. Okay, when that tears, you have to repair it. And you repair it so that that seal is again tight, because without the seal, the ball and socket would essentially slip in and out without any sort of resistance. That seal is what keeps it in there. He tore that. He's rehabbing it. He doesn't need to be out there doing everything like normal yet. He had also broken a bone in his hand, and they don't need him doing things on the field currently right now. They have him doing little things on the side, rehabbing, staying in shape. Pacheco's he's no threat to miss week 1. July 19, Pacheco and Breece Hall we have absolutely zero concern about them missing week 1 because of the PUP right now. Breece Hall walked into the facility just with swagger and style. He's not remotely injured right now. He's trying to get stronger and get his burst back. So the great news, when people react, when people have knee-jerk reactions, we have opportunity. When Bob freaks out, Breece Hall drops to 3.1 instead of 2.8, 2.9, 2.10. When Breece Hall has a little smile and swagger walking into the facility with his PUP sticker on his chest. They don't really give those out, but let's pretend they do. We have Bob. We have Petrified Peter. We have Scared Scott sitting there biting his fingernails until they're bleeding. I could see Scott right now literally just eating his fingers away, going, oh my God, I drafted him in one best ball draft. And he's probably freaking out. Probably trying to get a refund right now, saying, I didn't know, refund my money. Let people be petrified. Thank God Breece Hall's going to drop to 3.1. I'd much rather buy him at 3.1 than 2.8. I don't know about you. Third drafted player 2023. That's the definition of baked in, boys, if I've ever seen it in my life. Baked in to the extreme degree. Kenneth Walker. Charbonnet lands in Seattle. Value time. Charbonnet puts Kenneth Walker from a 2.04, 2.05 ADP down to 4.10 to 5.4. 5.4. You can get Kenneth Walker at 5.4. Why? Because Zach Charbonnet, who we love, was drafted on the roster. Okay? You can get Breece Hall now at 3.1 to 3.4, I would guess. And I'm speculating here what this news is going to do. But 3.1 to 3.5, sign me up, because guess what? That's a whole nother level of amazing upside and ROI, your return on investment compared to risk. If you weigh it all out, that's astronomically different. Your third drafted player, Breece Hall, blows away the second drafted player, Breece Hall. It's just the bottom. It's the way it is. Joe Burrow deserves to be a round 2 guy, but he's going in round 4 and 5. Joe Burrow. Hi, I'm Joe Burrow, walking to meet second round Joe Burrow. Guess what? 4th round Joe Burrow is better than 2nd round Joe Burrow. He is. He's a better version of him because he gets to explode and win you a league. Breece Hall, 3rd round Breece Hall meet Breece Hall 2nd round. That's yesterday's Breece Hall. We're going after Breece Hall 3rd round. Take advantage of it. That is the new Breece Hall. I can't wait to hear the scared Scots call in and everybody say, Smitty, oh my God, Breece Hall, he's on the PUP, Smitty. You got to stay away from running backs that are coming off a torn ACL. That's my favorite oblivious Oscar that strolls into my comment section after this video is done and over with. They're not here for the live stream. They're here later. They're strolling in. They don't watch the whole thing. They're in the comments. They go, Smitty, you always want to stay away from a running back that's coming off an ACL tear his first year. I don't know why I picture Jack Nicholson when I do that. But Smitty, he's not going. Didn't you watch J.K. Dobbins, Smitty? Didn't you watch Barkley, Smitty? Oh, you can't use Adrian Peterson. I'm going to cherry pick when you can use a successful year one recovery and when you can't. Because Breece Hall just fits right into the same bucket. Especially he's going on the PUP, Smitty. He's going to go on the PUP, Smitty. You know who we have to be worried about right now? We're going to talk about the 7 p.m. show. Is Stevenson. Ramondre Stevenson's got the Patriots looking into every single running back that is potentially out there. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with Stevenson, but what in the hell is Bill doing? Why is Bill trying to bring in Dalvin Cook? Why is Bill trying to bring in Leonard Fournette? Why are the New England Patriots at the top of the Vegas odds and predictions of landing Dalvin Cook? I don't know, but that worries me more than Breece Hall. Yeah, Mighty Buffoon says drop Breece Hall. I know he's joking, but let's spread this everywhere. Let's tell everybody. Tell everybody Breece Hall is no longer 8 feet tall.
Breece Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Breece. He's Breece.
He does a hull of a job. A hull of a job. A hull of a job.
Breece Hall, please report to the moon.
He does a hull of a job.
Get Breece.
Let people freak out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you right now, this is a nothing burger. If something develops, if he has a setback, if something happens, we'll certainly adjust and adapt. I'm not one that digs my heels in and takes you down a wrong path. What did I do when I was saying, hey, I really like Najee Harris, back in January, February, March, when we heard he had a Liz Frank injury? What did I immediately do? I didn't come in here and say, yeah, it'll be okay. We've already doubled down. Everybody stay on the Breece train, or the Najee Harris train, please. Do not abort. Good God, what are we going to do here? We got to keep this train full. How do we calm the storm and lie to everybody? This isn't corporate. This isn't corporate or HR where we just cover it up and continue to go down the same old road and path and put more good money after bad. We're not that channel. I can promise you that my intention and my approach will always be to adjust and adapt. That doesn't make me a backtracking mofo. That doesn't make me an a-hole. It makes me a real person. It makes me an analyst that comes to the table with an objective and real point of view. I reserve the right to change my mind at any moment in time. I love Kadarius Toney. I reserve the right to come in and say tomorrow, oh, this guy I don't trust him anymore, guys. What he did yesterday on social media, I'm out. Change it up. Oh, Smitty, he's a backtracker. He's a flip-flopper. No, you go watch the person that literally stands by their prediction all year long and lets it crumble in front of them, or you trust the man that tries to guide you out of the storm that maybe I didn't even see coming sometimes. I'll guide you out of the storm the best I can, because that's the approach you need to take in fantasy. This is not stubborn, I need to be right on everything. This is not one of those things. This is a humble game. And you got to be able to adjust and adapt. And I want you to know I will always have that on the front of my mind. And I've always done it. And anybody that says I'm a flip-flopper or do anything like that, I'm not. But the reason I'm telling you that is because I have the confidence and the balls of steel to come in here and change my mind if I really truly thought there was concern here. There's not. Breece Hall dropping to 3.1 because of this news right here is the best thing that could have ever happened to him, or happened to you if you're a prospective Breece Hall owner. He's fine. He's fine. Every indication I have is he's way ahead of schedule. And we still very much might hear he looks like he didn't ever even tear his ACL once September 1 comes. Okay? It is July 19. The team wants to have as many players on the field right now to evaluate as possible. This is like a cheat code in a way to be like, hey, Breece Hall's doing his rehab anyway, and we want him to get stronger, quicker, more explosive, and let's just put him on the PUP. It could be a day. It could be 2 days. It could be a week. It's not going to be what you think it is if you're doubting this because of this news. If you're petrified Peter, you're an oblivious Oscar, or you're just a wrong Roger. Okay, you just don't even understand what's going on. You're just following the leader, okay, and you're just listening to other shows that are regurgitating, information, or you just are knee-jerk reacting to things like this. Then trust me. Be here to trust me to guide you the best I can. Could I be wrong? Could Breece Hall suffer a setback tomorrow and trip on his Nintendo Switch on the way out the door? Yes. And we'll take it together, the situation, and approach it together and readapt when the time comes, if the time comes. This is not that time. Nothing to see here. I promise you, the only thing you see here is Breece Hall's value going down. And guess what? We Smitty approved drafting him any later than we already get to draft him. 3.1 and beyond. Here we come.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Let's go straight into the phone lines. I don't know if I'm going to be here through the 4 p.m. show or not. We'll have to kind of see. It's possible at this point because it is already 3:07 my time, 4 p.m. coming up, 7 p.m. Eastern. I do have a little news. If I could get a little poll from you guys in the chat, I might be moving the show time up an hour. So instead of 7 p.m. Eastern, we might go live at 8 p.m. Eastern. Moving full August 1st, I might make the change. Can I get a little poll in the audience here as to how how you see that? Maybe that's better for you. Maybe some of you are at dinner. Maybe some of you at 4 o'clock West Coast time are like, can't you just go live at 5 when I get off work? Like, let me know if 5 o'clock West Coast, 8 o'clock Eastern is a better time frame anyway. This is probably a change I have to make anyway for my schedule. So we're gonna go instead of 7 p.m. Eastern. It's almost likely a done deal. So on August 1 it'll happen. But I want to know if everybody actually likes the movement of an hour. And it's only an hour. The show lasts a long time. Sometimes we go live for a super long period of time. But I just want to know if anybody feels like, I just want to get a general sense. I'm definitely not gonna, I could probably put a poll up, but I'm definitely not gonna change it because I'm doing it for, several scheduling reasons for me. And it just works beautifully around my schedule. And I just want to make sure there's a general crazy pushback that I can at least address and kind of explain why. But so far it's been pretty positive. So far it's been about 70% of people actually prefer it. And the remaining of the 30%, and maybe 10% is mad about it. And then the remaining 20% of that 30% is like, not a big deal. Whatever works, So 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. 5 p.m. West Coast time. Now, keep in mind that the time zones change, and I always stay Eastern. So depending on what time zone you're in, it will always be 8 p.m. Eastern. And so if that changes for you once October comes, you just got to know that, if 8 p.m. So for me, like example, I go off Eastern time for everybody because it's easy for everyone to really know. No one knows who's in Central, and California moves, Arizona moves back and forth even though we don't change our clocks at all. But I prefer 8 p.m. Great. So for me, it's right now it's going to be 5 p.m. my time, Arizona time, and it's going to be Eastern 8 p.m. Once October comes, when the time zone flips at the end of October, it's still going to be 8 p.m. Eastern, but that becomes for me going live at 6 p.m. And so I believe in California, I believe California is the same time right now as Arizona. I always forget about California. That's why I stick to East Coast time, because it's so easy. But just know that the time zone changes for you potentially if you move in and out. But essentially, we're going live at 8 p.m. Eastern going forward instead of 7 p.m. Eastern on August 1. So just know that. Phone lines are open. Please dial into the show. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on Breece Hall. If anybody has any concerns, I can try and walk it down. I can try and make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. But some of you I won't be able to help because you're going to be like Scott, petrified Peter, or scared Scott. So dial into the show.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Ramondre is good receiving back. He still get around 250 touches. If the Patriots sign Cook Fournette, I don't know, but Spacula, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I still would be worried about why he's so eager to go out there and find another RB. Is Stevenson more in the doghouse than we thought? Keep in mind, Stevenson ended the year in a very doghouse fashion, you know, with the fumbling or the fumble. I forget if he had 2 fumbles or what it was. And then the lateral situation, what was against the Raiders, where he started and triggered. It wasn't his, final throw that lost the game, but Bill was pissed at Ramondre for pitching that ball back when he started that trigger effect of trying to lateral it and take that kickoff to the house, and the Raiders got it. They could have went to overtime. The Raiders got it, scored a touchdown, defensive or special teams touchdown, won the game right there. So, again, it's small potatoes to me, but it's weird that Bill's out there trying to bring in a big name running back. And so, it's going to be something we talk about at the 4 p.m. / 7 p.m. show. But it's definitely something that you should be concerned about. Why is Bill doing this? Breece Hall, again, no concern. Pacheco, no concern. We probably will come back, I imagine. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet whether we're going to come back or not. I just don't want to go live through the 4 p.m. show. But then again, it's like in 40 minutes. So, maybe we just stay here. Maybe we just stay here and run through the 4 p.m. show. Depends how many people we have in the building. We've got 150 people in here. I'll tell you what. Let's get that over 100. We got 150 people in here. If we get it over 100 thumbs up instead of 61, we'll just roll through and make this the 7 p.m. show, and we'll just truck on through. We'll go live for the next 45 minutes into the 4 p.m. hour, and then we'll go live the entire 4 p.m. hour as well. So we'll take this thing about 2 hours starting from when we began. A little over that maybe. Spacula, appreciate you. Call into the phone line if you want to talk about this. Vampy, phone line's open, pal. Hope your knee's doing better. Jeb in the building. Wild Bill is here. Charles here. Hit that thumb up button. If we get 100 thumbs up, we got 150 in here. We get 100 thumbs up real quickly here. I'll just stay live and we'll go straight into the 4 p.m. show. I had lunch with Breece. And he ran off without paying. He's fine, says Wild Bill. Brucey, what's up, my guy?
Hey, Smitty, with this Breece Hall news, I might be the only one that thinks about it. I love it because now it just drives his and Javante's value down.
Well, yeah. No, you're not alone. I mean, that's what we just said for about 10 minutes there, Brucey. But, yeah, I mean, you're right. This is glorious, I'm not saying it's glorious that we're like, would I rather hear, hey, he's so good right now, he's cutting like a monster? Yeah, of course I'd rather hear that. I'm not an idiot. But this is, at the end of the day, for fantasy value, this is kind of like
it dropped.
Yeah, he's in the third round. Down. He's in the third round now. This is similar to like the Kenneth Walker Charbonnet thing, just in a different light, in different context. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was just saying Javante's in the 7th. I think he might fall to the 10th just because of this ACL. They popped the ACL.
I mean, I guess what you're saying is true, Bruce. There's probably some way that this affects Javante, because if Breece Hall, who is way ahead of schedule, is in this situation, I think people are going to be like, well, God, Javante's injury was worse, and he feels more behind schedule, so, God, I'm not going near Javante. But I don't blame people for staying away from ACL recovered players. I get the fear, but you have to take it player by player. You cannot use a blanket analysis or statement and say, oh, okay, well, otherwise you can't cherry pick. You can't cherry pick and say, oh, well, Adrian Peterson did it. Oh, that's because it's Adrian Peterson. You can't compare this to Adrian Peterson. Why? Why can't we? Why can't you compare? Who's to say that he's not going to come out? I'm not saying he's going to have 2,000 yards, but who's to say he's not going to come out and look just as effective coming off year one? He's a young guy. He's an explosive player. He keeps his knees over his heels, which is, he's not out there like cutting in ways that I feel, he's not cutting out there like a Barry Sanders. Javonte I worry about more than Hall because I feel like he has so much more torque on his cuts and such. And the fact that Javonte's, one of the biggest tackle breaking monsters in the NFL at the running back position, and people are going to forget that really quickly. Like, he's going to be putting himself in like situations where he's hanging up a little longer, trying to drive out, 2 or 3 more yards with 2 guys on his back and breaking a tackle, and then maybe he gets hit in the knee again or something. Like, I do worry a little bit more about Javonte, just in general. But Breece Hall feels very much his style of running, his youth, his explosion, how he plays, how much we've heard he's ahead of schedule, every positive thing that's come out. I literally have no fear about this at all. I'm just, like I said at the top of the show, for 10 minutes, and like you just said, this is good news. Take advantage of it. Don't draft him at 2.10. Take him at 3.1 to 3.5. That's where he's going to fall, especially with Henry climbing up. This is going to be the running back that definitely falls into the 3rd round. Tony Pollard might fall into the 3rd round as well. I got Tony Pollard at 3.1 in the best ball draft. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty if you want to draft tomorrow night with us. Hit that link in the description or use code Smitty. But I got Tony Pollard and at 3.1, and I think we're going to continue to see that kind of thing happen. Mixon could, like, who the hell knows, bro? Mixon could climb above Hall if people start freaking out, which is going to be crazy. Like Mixon, I have people saying Mixon fell to me in the 4th round. I have people telling me that phrase all the time. What do you mean he fell to you in the 4th round? You mean he tripped, fell, and you took him? I understand people like Mixon, and you can like Mixon in round 5. I'm okay with that. But you're taking Mixon in 4. You're making a big mistake. I understand the offensive line's improved, and he could be better this year than he was last year. It's definitely a possibility, but they're trying to get rid of him potentially for a reason. Take a big pay cut or you're gone. He took the pay cut. You don't do that with a player you still totally believe in. You don't walk up to your best employee. You don't walk up to I don't know. You don't walk up to even Eckler, at his age and say, take a pay cut. You take a pay. They obviously still believe in Eckler. They don't want to piss him off. They don't want him, they're not going to go ask a player to take a pay cut unless they're like, look, you're barely what you used to be. We're starting to see that this is not the same Mixon. It's not his fault. He's been driven into the ground. We got a couple super chats. Brucey, hold on 1 second. Let me get to these super chats. I'm sorry, guys. Yep. Deckard said, can't wait to hear Scared Scott. I agree with you. Thank you, Deckard. Deckard to the moon. That's my boy, Deckard. Breece to the moon. I'm not getting off this train. Attaboy. True. Penguin, I'm sending you to the moon train, baby.
To the moon.
Okay, James with the super chat, $5 holler. James, appreciate you. James says, no worried about Hall. I think he means not worried about Hall as he kisses that trophy. This is the same guy that takes advantage of his wife in a trade without a hesitation. This guy is stone cold steel. We call him Steel James. Stone cold Steel James. I don't know. This guy's just got a heart of steel, brass balls. He'll take his wife to the cleaners in a trade. Look at him. He won't let anybody get in between him and that trophy. He says, not worried about Hall. He can come off the PUP anytime. Unfortunately, I don't draft until September, but we'll go chase 1.1 and Hall at the 2-3 turn with he'll be glad to do that. But James, Underdog Fantasy, I don't know if you can play Underdog in your state, but Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty, you can go get Breece Hall in the 3rd round, and the man is still 8 feet tall. I can confirm it, James. James, appreciate that. Spacula, Smitty, should I drop Breece? And again, that was Bob talking. He's relaying Bob's message. Thank you, Spacula. Appreciate you. Overcome dropping a $2 hauler. And then this one right here, Breece Hall equals Apollo 11. Appreciate you, Overcome. E-Rock with a $5 hauler says 12 team half PPR, half point for first downs. Pick 12. which start do you like better? Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Gibbs, Burrow, or Chubb, Wilson, Ridley, Burrow? Amon-Ra, Wilson, Gibbs, Burrow, Chubb, Wilson, Ridley, Burrow. They're really close. Give me the Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Gibbs, Burrow side. I really, really, really like that one. That one is probably my favorite one. I would go that route. Definitely go that route. Thank you for the super chat, E-Rock. Thank you, Overcome again, Spacula, James, True Penguin, and Deckard for dropping those super chat hollers. And if anybody else has one, please drop it on the screen. Brucey, same thing with Pacheco, bro. You know, the same thing going on with Pacheco. Pacheco is, thank you guys for those super chats again. I appreciate you. 175 in the building. We get one more thumb up. We're going live through the 4 p.m. show. We're not going to stop and reset. We're literally going to add 40 minutes to the show, just like that. Another 40 minutes from right now and go straight in. One more thumb up. Let's do it. Who's doing it? Who's dropping it? I'm looking at it. 99, 100. There we go. 100. We're doing it live. We got, hold on, we got to reset that. That was unacceptable. Okay, we're going live. Let's do it again.
Mashed potatoes.
Okay, Bruce. So, talk to me about Pacheco, Bruce. How do you like Pacheco?
I like Pacheco. Actually, he's from my state, so I used to get to see him in high school and when he went to Rutgers. So he's actually a really good player. You know, when I seen him.
Yeah, don't you feel very similar about this situation for Pacheco? He's on the PUP. People are freaking out. I got people left and right telling me, "Hey, Smitty, what should I do with Pacheco?"
Yeah, actually, I think Pacheco's in a better situation because they might not bring in anyone else. I'm afraid that the Jets might bring in like a Cook or someone like that. I don't think the Chiefs would do that at all. They're like, okay, we're going to roll with what we got.
Yeah. The good news is with Pacheco, yeah, McKinnon feels like an amazing, handcuff, but I don't know that he's necessarily the true handcuff, because if Pacheco does go down, it'll probably be the rookie Prince, I imagine, at some point that goes into the 1-2 role. And then McKinnon stays in his kind of like, inverse Debo Samuel role. So in a way, I'm drafting McKinnon all day long, just stand alone. I'm drafting him with Pacheco as well as a must handcuff, not because he's the for sure replacement, but if Pacheco went down, McKinnon's usage would go up, but Prince would go in, and then you need to have both those guys. We got a $1 holler from Andres. Andres, appreciate you, my guy. I'll look for an additional question if you maybe were trying to attach something and it wouldn't let you, but I'll look for that, Andres. Appreciate you dropping that holler there on screen. Pacheco was at practice Wednesday. Pacheco to the moon, Breece Hall to the moon. Let everybody get their panties in a bunch over this. This is Breece Hall season. If you guys want to dial into the show, Brucey and I are here. And we'll be doing this for the next hour until we hit 4 p.m. and then we're just gonna roll straight into the next show. We got Ron Navy calling in here. Ron Navy, attention, Ron Navy. What's up? Hello.
What's up?
Hello. What's up, Ron?
Hello. What's up, Ron?
I noticed you're at 19.3 thousand now.
Yeah, we're at 19.3K. We should be at 20K by, I'd say easily by like August 15 or whatever, but it starts steamrolling in certain ways in August and July. But spread the word, guys. Don't think this is going to grow on its own. It definitely helps with you guys spreading the word. There's a lot of different channels out there that they're not competing with us at all, but they're saturating up the search. So when someone goes in there like a Bob and he searches for a Pacheco video or a Breece Hall video, they get some Mickey Mouse show, that pops up, and then they watch it and they're like, this is okay. And they can't find us, so we need you to spread the word. The likes, the comments, it all helps the engagement. And, I need your help to grow this thing. We want to hit 40, 50K by the end of the season. And I think it's totally doable. And this is a great place to hang out. It's a great place to bring your friends and your draft mates. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to bring my league mates in here and they know my secret, but I can tell you,
Yeah.
the people that have the most fun
I
are
heard that the other day. Somebody did say that, but I don't want to tell my buddies about Smitty's.
I hear that. I hear that daily. But I think the thing people need to realize is, A, you've got a lot of other buddies you could tell. You don't have to tell certain buddies, but you have like the work buddies where honestly you're really worried about your work buddy that doesn't know crap about fantasy football learning more information. Like, give me a break. Tell buddies that you can talk about the show with. There's some fun to that where you can be like, you're at work and you're bored and you're like, did you hear Denny? You know what I mean? Like the people that have the most fun on the show are like buddies. You know, like our two Hawaii guys that call in. Scotty Dew and what's the other guy's name? Gosh dang it, if he's watching, he's going to be sad. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. Scotty Dew and Gustavo. Yeah, I remember. Scotty Dew and Gustavo. These guys have like bunk beds. They do karate in the garage together, and they listen to the show together. And it's just amazing when a duo calls in like that, a best bud duo. We got a super chat from Space Ricky who said Barkley threatens to sit out, ? I mean, we hit this all day yesterday, Space Ricky. You were here. Yeah, I mean, him and Jacobs are absolutely going to, try and make a stink as long as they possibly can. Both of them are not under contract. So technically Barkley's not even holding out right now. Technically Jacobs isn't holding out as well. Holding out is when you're holding out on your contract. They don't have contracts right now. They have offers sitting in front of them. So technically speaking, they are not holding out. They're not accruing fines. So they can take this as long as they want and make a real stink about it. That will increase the likelihood to injury for Barkley. I think Barkley, there's no way, in my opinion, he doesn't show up and plays. But there's definitely a chance that he drags this out a lot longer to try and help create a movement. And these running backs are all on a group text thread right now, that word is texting each other, trying to figure out how they can rally together, band together. The problem that's going to happen with that is the guys that are getting paid better. I mean, I think every one of them wants to get paid more, but there's guys that are getting way underpaid versus guys that are not getting necessarily way underpaid. There's guys that are trying to potentially, not make waves with their situation. So it'll be interesting to see who steps out and like the writers and actors guild and all the people striking in Hollywood right now, where you see them all banding together immediately, like without a hesitation. I wonder if the RBs will do that. And I wonder what can actually be accomplished because, at the end of the day, you can't force a team to value a running back. You can't force a team to draft a running back in the first round. You can't force a team to draft a running back in the second round. You can't. And so I don't know what's going to really come of it. I wouldn't be shocked if something crazy did unfold and we're like, wow, this thing's going in a different direction than any of us saw. I know Ron last night said that Barkley 5% chance he plays week 1. And I said 5% chance he doesn't play week 1. So we're on the complete opposite ends of the spectrum, which is interesting. And both sides have a good argument. I mean, honestly, like Ron could argue it, and I'd probably go, yeah, I can see it. I just think that Barkley, he doesn't have enough time unless he wants to make this his legacy, and he could. That's going to go toward Ron's argument. Unless he wants to make this his legacy, he doesn't have enough time to dilly-dally and not play out this $10.1 million deal, get the $10.1 million, and then get a contract. He's got to bet on himself. And in today's NFL, if he makes a stink about it and he doesn't go out there and prove himself, he's going to have a much harder time in 2024 even getting what he was offered by the Giants in this last little effort that the Giants threw at him. So there's a real good shot that Barkley, at the end of the day, pushes it as far as he can, and then he, signs his contract, shows up for week 1, shows up in enough time to prepare, and then he's got big injury risk, over his head, in my opinion. But am I still drafting him at the end of round 2? Yeah. Like, even if Barkley held out right up until like a couple weeks before week 1, I wouldn't want him at the 12-13 turn, but I certainly would still take him at the 2-3 turn. I would not bump him down to 4. I would comfortably draft him right now today at the 2-3 turn without a hesitation, because I'm banking on, and not in every league because you don't know what could happen, but I'm banking on the fact that he's going to want $10.1 million. As mad as he is, he's going to want that. And if he holds out week 1, guess what? That comes off as $10.1 million. If he holds out week 2, guess what? That comes off as $10.1 million. And at the end of the day, he's going to go broke, and he's got to pay the bills. And if he's wanting more than 10.1, you can be rest assured he probably needs it in some degree. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I know the other RBs like Derrick Henry and those guys are definitely in their corner, and we'll see what they can all do and rally together. My one thing I'll say, Ron, and I'll let you talk here. I'll say the other thing I do expect the teams to maybe do to kind of throw a little water on the fire is maybe look into this very rarely used situation where the teams can offer an adjusted 1-year contract. And I think maybe that might be what the owners say, guys, we got to throw some water on this thing right now. So if they go to Barkley and say, we can technically speaking, we can do this. It's very rare. It's almost never really been done, and you never hear about it. And nobody talks about it because it's rarely ever used. And the rules are very, no one knows the rules in and out, these days it seems. Even I that report on this, there's things that you forget are in the rules, and there's so many different loopholes with contracts and different things. But they can offer an adjusted 1-year contract offer to a player at any moment. So if they want to go into Barkley, he's got $10.1 million, and say we're going to give you an adjusted contract and escalate your 10.1 up to $15 million this year, that I think that would probably bring him in. You know what I mean? So I do look for the Giants or team. I don't know about the Raiders. I'm not sure how invested they are in bringing Jacobson anywhere near what he wants, but I could see both teams saying, look, we understand that 10.1 isn't what you wanted. We understand the 22 or 24. We basically heard the Giants were saying, we'll give you your franchise tag amount, which was 10.1 times 2. So we'll guarantee you what would equate to 2 years of the franchise tag. And Barkley wanted much more than that. Barkley wanted over probably 28 to 30 million guaranteed instead of the 22. But if they say, look, I know you didn't get what you want, but you're here and we don't have to do this, but this is how much we appreciate and value you, even though you don't feel that way. Here's 15 million instead of 10.1. Here's 14.5 million. And maybe he goes, well, it's better than literally not getting that. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. But go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, well, I think Space Ricky was talking about, and I don't know if you saw it, ESPN report today of Barkley actually talking about it and saying, originally I didn't want to have to do that, but now I'm really considering not playing for the New York Giants this season.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, but again, he said that before. He said that he doesn't, but yeah, if he said it again, I get what you're saying. That's where Space Ricky was referencing.
Well, he sat down with and talked all the Money Matters. That's the podcast. That's where he sat down at.
This was yesterday, though? This was yesterday?
This is today. This is dated today.
Yeah, I just wonder if that interview was...
He said that he's seriously thinking about it. He is going to sit down with his family and discuss it and all this, but he was using F-bombs. I mean, and part of it.
Okay, so here's one thing that I see right here. This is from Sports Illustrated. Okay, it says my leverage is that I could say F you, and the Giants. I could say F you to my teammates, and be like, you want me to show up? You want me to show my worth? You want me to show you how valuable I am to the team? I won't show up. I won't play a down, and that's a play I could use. So that's what I think everyone's referencing. So, yeah, I mean, he's pissed. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I mean, that's a crazy that's definitely a crazy angry take that I understand. I don't blame him.
I think there's one thing that they took away that they were dumb for, unless it never happened, and that's you're able to negotiate all season, not just up until July 17th. You know what I mean? If I'm right, they took Emmitt Smith, and he signed week 3 that time.
No, that's different. The franchise tag is literally the 17th was the deadline to where they can no longer do a long-term deal. The only thing they could do is an adjusted 1-year deal. So take his $10.1 million and give him slightly more if they want to. but he can no longer get a long-term deal. That's why the deadline was there. But yeah, here's the quote here that Barkley said. So I guess this is on a podcast today. Yeah, my leverage is that I could say F you to the Giants and I could say F you to my teammates, which sucks that yeah, again, do I think he's going to do it? No, but I think this is a good way to get the Giants to give him that extra adjusted, increase. But, there's nothing, the problem here is, this is where I'm getting at. The problem here is him doing this will get him no long-term deal. So his only solution is that he gets the adjusted amount, or he's just going to, no matter what happens, take a stand to try and create some movement next offseason. There's nothing else he can get from it. So that's why I say that ultimately, I don't think he holds out. I don't think he misses a game. I think he could hold out until the very bitter end, which is something I didn't necessarily think was going to happen. But, things change and the players rallying around each other. The actors strike at the same time in parallel with this is probably fueling some of their thoughts, like seeing, actors and writers band together. And now the NFL players are like, this is going to push us over the edge then. Look at these people doing this. Look how much change they're evoking. So, definitely feels differently than it did a couple days ago. But he can't gain anything by it this offseason. And he's going to be 27 next offseason. So I think that he's frustrated. I understand it. He's going to start firing off like this. But his only play is to get the Giants to give him an adjusted one-year deal. That's the only thing he can do. He can't get a long-term deal anymore. That deadline's passed. And nothing's going to get changed in enough time for him to ever take advantage of it. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but he could preserve his body and sit out. Money's not everything. I mean, he's probably got a lot of money set aside if he was smart with his money and this and that. Money's not everything,
Yeah,
and
right,
he's making a point.
I mean, that's a good point.
And he could sit out a whole year and then do negotiations, have nothing to do with the Giants no more, and then negotiate somewhere else.
Now, here's the problem I would have. If I was Barkley's teammate, and this might not be fantasy-wise, what if he did say, F my teammates?
Yeah, that part I was
wouldn't you go in there and be like, you have a problem with me?
You know what I also took from that too is like one of his plays he could say that. He could say F my teammates, but that's not Barkley. That's not who Barkley is. So like part of me wonders if this line was like, this is a route I could take if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to do that to my teammates. But I don't know. Look, he's pissed off. And if I was a running back, I would be mad too because of the discrepancy. Again, I go back and forth on whether I think owners should be forced to pay, a player they don't want to pay or a position they don't want to pay. But at the same time, the discrepancy is what bothers me. And just like it does in the NBA when a big man gets $100 million and he sucks, and another player is not even sniffing that contract or whatever because he's older or whatever, it just seems the discrepancy stupid to me. And the problem is we do need a fix to reset the market at the RB level because Barkley not signing his new contract offer only drops the likelihood of dropping the franchise tag next year because he didn't get a decent contract on the books to be equated into that top 5 average. So it's like, it's just going to get worse, because if a running back doesn't want to sign even a $10 or $11 million a year deal, then all of a sudden it's going to just, what's going to be left? The last time a running back signed a double-digit amount of money per year, so $10 million or more per year, was Nick Chubb in 2019. So every running back since has signed a contract that pays them less than $10 million a year. There hasn't been a double-digit money maker per year at the running back position since 2019, before the pandemic. And on top of that, it's like you haven't these guys are the franchise tag is just such a small amount that it's almost like a laughable thing for a team to do now. Like if they've got a good RB, it doesn't make sense at all to not franchise tag them because the franchise tag is advantageous now. That franchise tag was designed to be uncomfortable for the team to be like, crap, we want to keep him, but we're going to have to pay the price. Well, now the top 5 salary at the running back position is laughable. So it's like, do it. And then on top of that, it's the lowest average top 5 salary across any position in the NFL aside for kicker. And so, that it's just not going to get any better. Something needs to be reset. I think if it gets reset and then they take the franchise tag away, that could be all that's needed to maybe guide the amount a little bit better. But there is going to be a point where you can't just like force a team to do something. You just got to reset the market. I think the market gets reset. Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan, these guys, should prove running back valuable again to an extreme degree. And hopefully, hopefully maybe RBs get paid in a way that, I don't know, that matches wide receivers, because they're going to start morphing into more Jahmyr Gibbs type players, I think. Even if you're a bigger player like Saquon, a little bit bigger than Jahmyr, they're going to morph into these slot wide receivers, slot RBs. I mean, it's going to be a slot RB in the NFL. Running back position is not going away, but it definitely evolves, and there's an evolution to it. And slot running backs are definitely the future. Let's see here. We got some other questions here. Go ahead, Ron.
More to that story. There's more to that story. I mean, after he says that I could say F you to the Giants, F you to my teammates and all that, he says anybody that knows me knows not something I want to do. It is something that has crossed my mind.
Yeah.
I never thought I would ever do that, but now I'm at the point where I'm like, Jesus, I might have to take it to the next level. Am I prepared to take it to the next level? I don't know. That's what he was.
I know if it says I know if I'm able to bring a championship to New York, that's going to go miles more ahead of this contract, is what he's saying. But
so it puts that in better light, where people were asking, if he came in and said "fuck you" to him, I was his teammate, I'd be pissed. Well, there's more to the statement. You got to read the whole thing.
Right, and he also, it definitely has a tone to it that is like, he's not this person, but it's this process is making him almost become this person, and I think that this is going to trigger the adjusted 1 year. Hopefully, I don't know if it will. It hopefully should trigger the team to give him some extra cash.
I think the Giants themselves are going to have a big PR problem with the fans the way they're treating Barkley, because the fans love Barkley, and the way they treated him, Barkley, the fans are good. They're going to have a big PR problem.
Yeah, give him $15 million. Give him $15 million. He deserves $15 million. That is an olive branch, and it also is something the team does not need to do. It is a form of respect to say, guess what? We're giving you an adjusted 1 year contract offer. We're taking your $10.1 million. As soon as you sign it, we're turning it into 15. You deserve it. We want you to be paid. That would do the trick, and it also throw a lot of water on the fire.
It might, but they should have showed that respect at the very beginning.
Yeah. I do wonder, though, the details. I do want to know the details of the original contract offer, because I've heard different things.
It came out to $14 million something a year, but the problems were with the guaranteed part of the contract, guaranteed money. That was the problem with that offer.
Yeah, I think it was like I've heard it was a bigger deal than the one maybe he was getting at the end of it, which was like, hey, Barkley, we told you, like, whoever signs first is going to get, paid. And then, if you don't sign and we sign Danny Dimes first, and they did, then, we're working with a different, situation. But I'm not positive if that was the true case in terms of the guaranteed money of that $14 million offer. But it sounds like their last offer was 2 franchise tag amounts guaranteed. I just don't know if that was $14 million the first time with like $20 million instead of $22 million guaranteed or whatever. So maybe they did up it at the end of the day.
The Giants were never going to offer him his true value, what he should be getting. They were never going to do it. They were always going to put the money into Danny Dimes and secure that, because they knew all along that they could franchise tag Barkley and handcuff him and get away from the deal a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it's
they
tough
knew
to
what
know.
they were doing.
Tough to know. But you know,
Yeah.
15 mil, give it 15 mil.
They were-
Jacobs reportedly, as I said yesterday, Jacobs was reportedly at the facility in his car, and he sat there the entire final hour in case they called him and wanted him to come down and sign. He was like there already in the car waiting, and they didn't bring it to him as well. And as hard as I am on Jacobs, I hope everyone understands, because I say this a lot, he deserved to go get a bag because he earned it. He went out and busted his ass. He was the NFL rushing leader, and the prison tag was slapped on him, and they decided, you know, he didn't have a say over it, and it is in the confines of the rules. It is, you know, as Barkley says, it is what it is. But it is also very disheartening when you do what Jacobs did last year, and you don't get a chance to go out and finally secure something that is very, very hard to secure, and do what he did. And he knows better. He knows better than to think he's going to repeat that in the current situation in Las Vegas. That's why he didn't want to sign his tender. He said openly, I will sign, Jacob said this, I will sign gladly my franchise tag amount if you bring in a quarterback and we go for a championship. And the moment they didn't get Aaron Rodgers, Adams was pissed off. Adams didn't want to play in Las Vegas anymore. Adams was hinting at maybe wanting a trade. Adams was very vocal and said, this is not the direction I wanted to take the team. His exact words, this is not the direction that I wanted the team to go in. Jimmy G was not the direction. I'm sorry, Bruce. And then on top of that, Jacobs, who gladly would sign his franchise tag, is just pissed off, doesn't want to be there, you know, but wants his contract, because what else is he going to do? You know, like, he doesn't want to play on $10.1 million, go out there and hit brick walls over and over and over again, and then try and go get the bag when everyone's going to not say, well, we remember what you did the year prior, Jacobs. They're going to say, Jacobs, you averaged 3.4 yards per carry last year. You dropped off, pal. You're no longer the NFL leading rusher. Like, he's not going to get what he wants. So his only choice was like, hey, you know, if you're not going to trade me or whatever, you know, when they weren't, no one's going to trade for him. Can you sign me to a 3 or 4 year deal so I at least can get a bag before I go out there and kill myself, you know, behind the line of scrimmage? So,
well, Raiders are historically, they treat their players crappy. They're historically famous for that. And you know what the thing is, you know, Brady, we look at him as the GOAT, but he is like got the worst business sense in the world. He gets taken for all that and that crypto crap. And then what's he do? Oh, I want to be part owner of the Raiders? Really? The Raiders? Of all the teams that you want to have ownership in, you want the Raiders.
yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's like a play of like, if he turns the Raiders around, then he'll be thought of as like the greatest mastermind of. I don't know if that's like his thinking behind it, because it does make you say to yourself, why would you pick a team that is literally a disaster? I'm sorry, Bruce.
I was thinking Tom Brady might be trying to be the Michael Jordan of the NFL now.
Yeah, and I don't know that that's a good. Yeah, that's definitely not a good thing, because Michael Jordan was not very good at scout evaluation and drafting Kwame Brown, and I mean he proved that
he did a decent job. He brought in guys when he was doing it. He brought in guys that could take him to the championship and stuff. I mean, he did that a couple times. But.
Yeah, I think these guys need to make a media splash, and they will, and they have been. And with the, like I said, with the actors strike or the writer strike going on right now, it couldn't be more beautiful timing for the running back, you know, group of running backs that have created this like little, almost like a little mini, you know, chat or community, and they're talking amongst each other. They're trying to motivate each other, and it certainly will go a long way, especially when the fan base is outraged. And that will help. And if the fan base can pile on, then they can maybe invoke some change. But I think ultimately, this is just my guess, and I could be wrong. And again, like I said earlier, I reserve the right to change my mind if the information hits me different. But right now, my gut is telling me that this can only go so far this year anyway. They're going to make a lot of noise. They're going to create some movement and some momentum. And then Barkley and and Jacobs return with support by the fan base, support by the running backs. And it's not like they're quitting and retreating by signing their tag and going forward and getting their bag. But I think ultimately they will push it and make it as uncomfortable for the Giants and the Raiders as they can, which I didn't initially think would happen because I thought Barkley would have more on his mind of, I need to get out there and be in tune. I need to get out there and bet on myself. I need to make sure I'm ready and prepared. If the team's not ready and prepared, if we're not meshing together and have cohesion, then I can't deliver my best football, which means that I won't get my biggest, bag at the end of this. But, maybe this has changed a little bit. The tide has changed a little bit, and he's saying to himself, this is more important, and I believe in myself enough that it's not going to affect me if I sit out until the 11th hour and then come in and sign my tag. And again, he's not holding out. Jacobs and him are not technically holdouts. They're not under contract, and that's why they're not going to get a single, fine until they sign their deal, and then they're obligated. But they're not going to sign it until they're ready to show up. So they technically can take this the distance, but the moment they hold out, past the deadline, walking into week 1, if they're worried about money, they can't afford to lose the game checks on top of all this. I just don't think it's going to be, especially Jacobs. Maybe you're right. Maybe Barkley's done very well with his money. Who the hell knows? Maybe Jacobs has too. But my guess is that like anybody in life, you're living, a certain lifestyle, you're living at a certain level, and you need to continue to make that level at least. And I think Barkley probably needs the 10.1 million more than he doesn't. And at the end of the day, they're going to create enough momentum that it won't be like them tucking their tails in between their legs and crawling back to their teams. I think they're going to have the support of the fan base and the NFL saying, you sign that tag, we're behind you, we're still taking this thing the entire season and making the NFL make a change in the offseason and then maybe invoke some change. But really, really tough to say like how it's going to play out, and no one really knows. I just, all the years doing this, I haven't seen this particular situation, so it certainly could go a different route, you know what I mean? But I still believe at the end of the day, there's just no upside to sit out, rest your body, and then try and come back at 27 and get probably the same damn offer that you got right before, you had to walk into this mess. You're probably not getting a team that's going to give you a $30 million guaranteed deal. You're probably going to get you a team that's going to give you 22 to 25 million guaranteed on a 2-year deal with some sort of, both sides friendly 3rd-year deal or option or whatever. And so at the end of the day, he's going to get the 22 million, but he's not going to have that 10, on top of it. I think his best bet is to play on the 10 and go get the 22 to 25 million next offseason if he can land the same offer or better. And I don't even know that enough change can be invoked in enough time for him to sign a new deal next offseason. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think this can happen quick enough. So it sucks.
He gets the 10, but he misses out on the 22 because nobody wants to sign him.
There's that shot as well. But if he's banking on himself, but that would be horrible for the running back position because it would go in favor of the narrative that running backs aren't worth it. Like, look what happened. He played on the 10 million, got hurt. Good thing we didn't give him 22. So like, he's got to go out and prove the narrative wrong. He's got to bank on himself. You know what I mean? He's got to bank on himself.
That's the problem. They keep telling these guys to prove it. They come out. Jacobs proved it last year. Barkley proved it last year, and the teams are still rolling and bending them over and sticking it in their keister.
For sure.
So they're going out and proving it, and everybody always says, "Oh, go out and prove it, and then get the bag next year." Well, they did it last year, and they didn't get the bag this year.
Yeah.
So this tells you that these teams are purposely screwing over these RBs, and they're collectively doing it as a league. And that's why the Players Association should get involved.
Yeah,
but
I don't know what they're doing.
Kickback probably from the owners and all this other crap because it's all political crap. And these running backs are they're getting treated just a little bit better than kickers get treated.
I know kickers are probably going. Hey, maybe we should attach ourselves to this. And no, stand down. This isn't your fight. You can't just come in and attach yourself to this. Maurer.
Barkley, he should man up and he should sit out the whole season. I hope he does. I hope he comes to that conclusion.
Absolutely. I'm on your boat, Ron.
I mean, it would be interesting for sure.
Oh, we gave all this money to Dime, and guess what? We didn't even make the playoffs because we're missing. And we're gonna use Beretta, or whatever his name is. He's not going to be. Oh, are you going to try to bring in Fournette? Or are you going to try to bring in one of these other running backs?
See, yeah.
No.
I think you still have to like. Okay, so I'm not trying to say I'm not in favor of the RBs or I'm not on their side. I'm just trying to be like a logical, I don't know, organizer of what I think is really going on. It's like at the same time though, like let's talk this out for a minute. Running backs don't last long. They don't last long. Hold on. I'm just walking it through. I'm not saying right or wrong, Ron. I'm just trying to walk through like you're an owner right now. Okay, running backs do not last long. Let's say you draft a running back in the first round like Breece Hall, or I'm sorry, like Bijan. You draft a running back in the first round like Bijan. Okay, you got him on a rookie contract. That's where the problem lies. So let me just say that up front, and then we'll circle back to it. You sign him on a rookie contract where you're taking advantage of him because he's one of the best running backs in the league, but he's not getting paid to be one of the best running backs in the league. Hence why the problem, the solving of the problem is probably in the rookie deal. So you sign him to his rookie contract, 4-year deal, 5th-year option because he was in the first round. Anybody drafted outside the first round doesn't have the 5th-year option. So 4-year contract, 5th-year option, franchise tag. You can literally keep him at dirt cheap pricing for 6 years. Bijan, maybe he's different than everybody else, but at 6 years, you're ready to let him go and say, I don't know when he's going to drop off, and that's what you're going to do. Teams are not going to change that. That is the rules. They're not doing anything wrong, technically speaking, by trying to take advantage of using their money the best way they can. The problem is the owners shouldn't be put in a position where they can literally use this to their advantage to the degree that it's piling bad contract onto bad contract. And like I said, it needs to be reset. The franchise tag should be removed for RBs. And really, we need to look at this from the rookie contract perspective. Otherwise, how is it going to ever change? How can you tell a team that they have to invest in an RB when they have these abilities to continue to keep them at a cheap cost? Like, in a sense, the team isn't doing anything wrong. It's literally they're set up to fail the running back. The running backs are set up to fail, and the owners and teams are set up to take advantage. You know what I mean? So I don't blame the teams and owners as much as I blame the setup, the system, and the process in place for a rookie and their rookie contract.
But the problem is to do that change and to redo you need the NFL Players Association union to step up and do its job, and they're not doing it.
Yeah, they need the union to step
up. Until that happens, you got these poor running backs that are getting devalued and they're getting taken advantage of, and they don't have anybody. The people that should be standing up for them aren't.
Yeah,
every time the owners get more than the players lose more.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. Like if I was an owner, I'm just being honest. If I was an owner, I'm not saying I wouldn't be pressured to make a nice statement and like, okay, this is bad publicity. We got to overpay him. But like from the owner's perspective, it's not always their fault that they're sitting there with rules that cater to this. You know, so it's on the NFL. It's on the NFL more than it's on the owners and teams. I think some of the callous owners have made some dumb statements, like the recent one we've heard where there's a GM or an owner that said that, you know, they're literally, you know, waiting for this to happen or waiting for that to happen, and so, you know, that same thing with the Hollywood. There's who is it? There's a director that says something like, they're just waiting for someone to lose their home. They're waiting for people to lose their homes or something like that. Not director. Someone from the, I don't know. I forget where it was, but similar fashion. It's like these owners have made some like callous comments about like, we draft RBs and we're not going to sign them to a long-term deal. We have no intention of signing. They don't need to come out and pile it on and make all the other owners like follow suit. Like that part I agree with, but I believe the NFL is responsible, not the owners and the teams. They have a better obligation to have better bedside manner and be more respectable. and potentially maybe do the right thing when a player's earned it. You know, like an Eckler situation, the Chargers barely gave him a bump. They should have given him an adjusted contract year amount much higher than they gave him. They gave him some okay incentives, but the Chargers should have said, hey, we as an obligation to you, being a classy franchise, let's go ahead and give Eckler an uninvited like salary bump. Here's $5 million more this year because you went and balled out and did everything we asked of you and more. That I think is on the team to maybe going above and beyond in order to be a good organization. But the NFL needs to change. The rookie contracts need to change. There's no reason Breece Hall should be locked, or I keep saying Breece Hall too, but there's no reason that Bijan Robinson should be locked into this small contract comparatively for essentially 5 years, and then his 6th year he could get franchise tagged on what is probably going to be a horse crap $10 million per year even then. You know, that's just not right for a guy like Bijan. He's literally walking in. Like Wemby got a $50 million deal. Wemby in the NBA got a $50 million deal. I don't know why they scaled rookie contracts down. I mean, I understand that it's hard to sign them, and it creates another problem, but goodness gracious, man, there's no way Bijan should be walking into the future worried about this when he's going to go out and be the best running back in the National Football League. It's crazy. The NFL's got to change.
Yeah, the last owner I know that was being nice to a running back was Jerry Jones.
The NFL and the owners, they're not separate entities. I mean, the NFL, Roger Goodell, he works for the owners. Now the thing is you got the owners, they're on competition committees, they're on all these committees, and they're the ones that gotta approve the rule changes if there are any.
Well, they need to do it on the rookie level.
So the owners are responsible for everything. So it falls on the owners. Don't say owners. The owners are the only ones, and you don't think they're giving kickbacks to the NFL Players Association union? Of course they are. They're buttering
GoFundMe.
their thing.
Wild Bill, can you imagine if we said this on another show last year? I forget for what player, but can you imagine if we created a GoFundMe for Barkley and it got so big that literally beat out his contract? We talked about that last time. All right. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I get all these points, and I even get Sean's point. You know, like I know that some get mad at this point, and some people get mad at Ron's point and say this, and I understand both sides. Like I don't think either one's wrong. You know, when Sean says poor Barkley only getting $10 million, stop it. Like I understand where Sean's coming from. Like I think that when you compare it to the other players, it is very, very unfair. And I think the discrepancy is bothersome to an extreme degree. But I also do understand Sean's point. It's like you can only get so upset over it, or I can't only get so upset over it when you remind yourself that, like, you know, he still got offered $22+ million guaranteed, and we didn't even get a chance to see all of the contract and incentives. Like maybe the incentives would have put him at near $28 million or something like that, and you know maybe they were achievable, but you know. The running back is a hard position to force a team to see it differently when it doesn't last as long. It's not really anyone's fault, but the running back is not going to last, and so teams don't want to have this big financial commitment. Hence why Eckler can't get an extension, and he thought he could. He didn't even understand it. He couldn't even comprehend why they wouldn't give him a 3 or 4 year deal. And it's like he's 28 years old. Like I get it from both sides. I think there's some corruption, like Ron said, at play potentially at the owner level. I do agree with that. There probably is some corruption there at the top level. There probably are some NFL Player Association situations that are much more complex than we think, and it's a shame that the NFLPA is not like being vocal. Maybe they will. Maybe because they don't want bad press on them, they're going to come out and start doing something. But I mean, Barkley's upset. To wrap this up and get back to Breece Hall. Barkley's upset. This quote here, you know, on this SI interview, saying that that he could do this or he could do that. I ultimately don't know what's going to happen, and certainly even if he thinks he won't hold out, or he's not even technically holding out. Let's just say he has no intention of really sitting out the season. That still could change. You know, this group text that the running backs have put together right now, it could certainly like alter people's emotions, and who the hell knows where it's going to go. No one has a clue. If I had to guess right now, I would say there's, you know, a small chance that he does sit out week 1 or something, but it feels like this is more of a, we're going to create a stink as loud as we can. There's nothing we can gain from it other than create a stink as loud as we can and get these owners to potentially maybe offer a little bit more of a 1-year adjusted deal, but we have to play or we're getting no money. And Ron's right. There is the option of him saying, well, I'll just rest my body and walk into the next season, but I don't know that that's going to necessarily give him, you know, more money, but maybe he would rather just get the same offer. Like maybe he just in principle would rather get the same offer, doesn't need a dime more, but doesn't want to get it from the Giants. Maybe he's so turned off by the Giants he does that. It's certainly possible. You know, like I said yesterday, some things you don't see coming. Some things you don't see coming, like the Calvin Ridley stepping away from football for a year. We didn't see that coming. Barkley stepping away to prove this point. I mean, it doesn't seem likely, but it certainly could happen. I mean, you just never know. I'm sorry, Bruce. Go ahead. And let's get back to Breece Hall real quickly, but go ahead, Bruce.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, it's Ron.
This is what I'll say about this, about Sean John's comment. He goes, poor Barkley. Well, Sean John, let's suit you up, put you in a football suit, let you go in and be running back and only get paid $10 million, but you're not getting that full $10 million because you're playing in New York, which is one of the highest tax states in the country, if not the highest, next to California. You're paying your agents off. You're paying all this other stuff off. How much actual of that $10 million do you think he clears? Not very much when it's all said and done.
It's true.
Half of that's already gone in taxes and paying off other things. So now you go out.
That's true.
And you put your body to the same punishment he goes in and be okay with just what he's making. And you know, putting up with concussions, broken bones and bruises and everything, the wear and tear that your body goes through. You go out there and you do that for just $10 million and you tell me that you're getting overpaid.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're all very, very good, arguable points. Everybody's side, in my opinion, has some arguable sides to it. But
tell me to go get Lamar's mom.
We'll see what happens. All I can say this: getting back to fantasy instead of I do love talking about the you know, the different aspects of this that aren't even fantasy related. It is enjoyable. A lot of people do say they enjoy it from time to time. But getting back to the fantasy part of this is going to create enough panic that both Breece Hall, let's get back to both these guys at the same time, they're both probably going in the 3rd round. So the question is, who climbs up into round 2? Henry's probably climbing up into round 2. But if both these guys fall out of round 2, what running back or wide receiver or quarterback or whatever climbs into round 2? Because if two fall out and one climbs up, then we potentially have one other player maybe climbing up ADP wise. I don't know who it's going to be, but maybe it ends up being I don't know. And then you got Stevenson now with Bill Belichick trying to bring in every single running back out there. You know, the Vegas odds are that Dalvin Cook is the potential front runner for the Patriots, or at least it was. I don't know if now that Fournette's heading there to potentially do a workout, maybe that drops off a little. But what in the hell's going on over there? And maybe we have a bunch of running backs declining. My fear is Gibbs, unfortunately, starts climbing up because people are going to be like, he's fresh. He's exciting. The hype is growing. We don't help on that. We definitely pump the hype up. I'm afraid he's going to climb because of this, but we'll have to see what happens. I do know that there's value in Hall and Barkley, though, in the 3rd round. Like, there's just tremendously different value for both these guys as a 3rd drafted player versus a 2nd drafted player. It's a big, big difference. And maybe some might not want to take Barkley because they're afraid he will actually hold out, but and I wouldn't expect anybody to take him in every league, but I'm taking him in the 3rd round in an upcoming draft somewhere. I certainly would do it on Underdog. I would not have a problem with it at all, especially if you held out 1 or 2 weeks and you could survive that. You'd be fine, especially in a weeklies. In a weeklies, I wouldn't have a concern at all. part of me wonders if in weeklies he goes a lot higher than he goes in a regular Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty draft. We'll draft tomorrow night, so make sure you hit that link in the live or in the description. I'll drop it in the live chat right now. But the weeklies, I don't think anyone's expecting him to sit out the year as much as they would week 1, week 2, week 3, or whatever. So it'd be interesting to see where his ADP doesn't move, or where it moves and where it doesn't move depending on the format. There's the link right now if anybody wants to go in. But Brucey, do you take Barkley right now, knowing what you know right now, knowing what you or fearing what you fear, without any other additional information? Do you take Barkley at 3.2 without a hesitation?
No.
Wow.
No, I don't take him.
My guess is Ron wouldn't either if you wouldn't, because I think Ron's a little bit more worried about the holdout than you are. Ron, where would you take him without a hesitation? Like over and over?
Barkley?
Yeah.
Without a hesitation,
Without
I want him in Walker, round 5 or 6.
That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen.
No,
Sorry.
it's not
I'll take him.
You asked me if
I know.
comfortable.
I know.
That's
So no more Barkley shares for Ron, but that's
I'd
okay.
be comfortable in the 4th round.
I have news for you. Neither one of you are owning Barkley moving forward then, because he's definitely not falling much past 3.1, 3.2. No, I know. I'm just informing you. I'm not saying you're wrong or ridiculous for it. I'm just saying.
That 3rd round,
Well,
2nd round.
how
3rd
much
round,
higher?
You're gonna do him no good when he's not playing.
Well, but that's the thing is, I think majority of everybody in here, if I had to guess, I haven't read all the comments yet, but majority of everyone in here is going to say, "I'll take the chance." If you can tell me I'm getting Barkley in the middle of round 3.
There's no whining about it when he's not playing.
Well, in the middle of round 3.
Playing.
In the middle of round 3, I will take a stab every single time on Barkley. Every single time. If it burns me, it burns me. I'll win handfuls of leagues by doing it. So I'll take the chance that I could lose.
There's RBs out there that
here's
are
the thing.
better than Barkley and better than Barkley. I'm sorry. Go, Bruce. I'm talking too much.
I was saying the last one draft I did, it was Barkley and JT. So my opinion is JT's going to go higher now.
Yeah.
It's going to boost him up.
I mean, that's good. That's fine with me because I'm not high on JT anyway. Hold on. We got a $20 hauler. We got a couple super chats I got to get to. 1 second.
Alert. Super chat alert.
My boy Isaac dropping straight fire like usual on screen. Isaac says, nobody but sports bettors want to watch a football game where both QBs throw 50 times for 500 yards and 7 TDs and no running backs. Defense is already gone now. The ground game, it's like the NBA after the 5-second and hand check rule. Appreciate you, Isaac. Yeah, I don't think the running back's going anywhere. It's a cycle. It's definitely a unique situation right now. But, I mean, we just saw 2 RBs go inside the top 12 in the NFL draft. So the running back has never been stronger in that sense, but then the contracts have never been weaker. So it's like a crazy combination of everything. But, I think that what's going to help is, like I said, removing the tag, or like we said last night, removing the tag. And maybe shorter contracts for RBs, or potentially, looking at some of the rookie contracts and adjusting that. But I don't know if that's going to happen. So it's certainly going to be something along the lines of the franchise tag, I believe. But, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan are going to prove to be some of the most valuable players in the National Football League. So at least that's going for the RB right now. And then that will help with the argument, especially if, like, the fan base is behind it. And all of a sudden you see Bijan and Gibbs go nuts and become 2 of the most electric players in the National Football League. There's going to be a lot more hype behind this thing from the fan level going, bro, the 2 best players, the most electric players right now are these 2 RBs. They're rookies. They both went in the top 12. What's going on here? And maybe that helps, invoke some change. Pollard or St. Brown? St. Brown's going much higher than Pollard. And Pollard dropped into about 3.1 territory, if I had to guess, on the regular because of the Derrick Henry climb. So Derrick Henry vaulting up above Pollard, move Pollard down to roughly, I would say, I think we can start to expect it, like 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. So similar effect is the Barkley situation here, dropping him into a third drafted player situation versus being your second drafted player, night and day. So Pollard as your third drafted player, night and day difference between being your second drafted player. I mean, I guess if you have the 2-3 turn pick, really not. Like if you're taking him at 2.12, but I'm saying if you had to take Pollard at 2.8 versus taking Pollard, 4 or 5 picks into the third round, if that does end up happening and he drives down that far, that's like a steal. Pollard's risk is so baked in at that point. He comes with some risk, high reward in the second round, and I understand that. And I don't put him in. I don't draft him in every league because the risk is very heavy. The reward is even heavier. It's better, but the risk is still very heavy. As a third drafted player, Breece Hall, Barkley, Tony Pollard have a significantly less amount of risk and way more like appeal, way more ROI potential. And super chat galore going on here. We got Killis dropping a $20 holler on screen.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Killers. Killer says Barkley ain't coming back for $5 million after taxes. Great point on that. We'll see him after week 11 at the earliest pickup. Gray says Killers. Well, it'll be interesting how this plays out, and there's gonna be a lot of people on all sides of this. But he's got the Barkley emoji as well. Killers, appreciate you. I met this man out at Circa Las Vegas Casino. Appreciate him. And I love that he's here. You enjoying the show? Killers, I hope you are. I assume you are. I mean, you're dropping super chats and you're here on the regular. So very excited to see you here and continue coming in, man. We appreciate you. Pollard St. Brown got that one. Zach dropping a super chat here. Zach says, Superflex Dynasty, I have pick 1.6 and the 2.5. Who should I take? Do I take Fields at 1.6? I was debating whether to go QB, or take AR second round. You 100% better take Justin Fields at 1.6 unless Burrow's there or something, or depending on the scoring. But you punt quarterback at that 1.6 when you're gifted Burrow or Fields, you are making the biggest mistake of your super flex life. 2.5 depends on who's there. Bijan fell, I go Bijan. Garrett Wilson fell, I go Garrett Wilson. Obviously, better wide receiver falls, I go better wide receiver. We saw Jamar Chase fall into the 2.2 territory, 2.2, 2.3 in the Scott Fishbowl on the regular. So I don't think you get him at 2.5. But you never know, bro. You never know what kind of run on quarterback happens. AR-15 and Fields is pretty good, but I kind of like the idea of Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love. Even if it's dynasty, as your second quarterback, considering what you can do, what kind of damage you can do in round 2, going running back or wide receiver. So in general, and you got to go with the flow of your draft, bro. In general, my loose base advice here is that to go in taking Fields or Burrow for sure, and then in round 2 take the best player available. In round 3, take the best player available. And then maybe consider an Aaron Rodgers or Love as you start approaching those next rounds. But you have to stay vigilant on the suggested rank and make sure you're taking full advantage. And and you don't want to end up getting screwed because you didn't look at the quarterbacks and Love goes and even Sam Howell's gone and you have no second quarterbacks. You have to stay very, very much on your toes, but if you stay on your toes, you can really take advantage. Why aren't the rest of the positions judged this harshly when it comes to age and injuries? For every running back, you can name a wide receiver, QB, linebacker, or offensive lineman that got hurt and got phased out early. These non-RBs still get paid. I think in general, they definitely fall off a lot sooner, but you make a good point. There's certainly something that needs to be addressed, and I think they'll eventually have to because this is not going to go away. The RBs are really taking a stand. They're creating a group chat. They're not going to just stop. I think they do report. I think they do sign and come get their bag. But like I said, I think right now they feel like if they did it, they're going against they're taking a stand. But I think after a certain point, let's say they wait several weeks, month, whatever. At a certain point, I think coming back and signing the tag and getting their 10.1 million will be advised by everybody in the group chat. You know what I mean? Like Derrick Henry and all these players that are taking a nice hard stand with the other RBs. I almost guarantee you their advice was going to be like, bro, we're still going to get, things rolling here, but go get your 10 mil. Like don't not get paid, go get it. Unless Barkley says I do want to save my body and go into the next year, but that comes at a cost too, because sitting out, you get rusty, you lose a step potentially. So I don't know if that's something that's going to help him with his next contract. But I think they do end up showing up. It's just going to be a different vibe later. Like if they wait this out, I think they're going to have the support of everybody. Like you come back and sign that tag, we're not judging you a single bit, and we're still going to invoke change, for the RBs. I think that's how it's going to, that's how I envision it playing out, but I'm not certain, of course. Cheryl dropping a super chat. Are Eric Gray and Breda worth handcuffs? Absolutely. At this point, you want to make sure you cuff Barkley, but yeah, Gray's interesting. Breda's probably the first man up, so tough to say if you want to bet on the guy, the more long-term down the road guy that gets in there, or if you want the guy that's going to be the immediate fill-in, which would be Breda. So depending on how long you think he's going to hold out. I got a couple more super chats here, and then we're going to move on to the phone calls again. Smitty's the GOAT. Appreciate you, Rhino. You're the GOAT, pal. From Smoke, I didn't see another question attached to that. Bowers, I didn't see a question attached to that. I think you can't for the 99-cent hauler, but I'll go look for if you guys asked a question. Overcome, thank you for dropping a super chat. Thank you, Space Ricky. Barkley threatened sitting out. He triggered a lot of this conversation. So Space Ricky, thanks for bringing up the SI article and thing that happened today with Barkley. And I think we're caught up on super chats. No, we're not. Because Pal Derby says not yet, Smitty. Here's a $20 hauler for you, pal.
Alert. Super chat alert.
$20 super chat. $20 super chat.
Thank you, Pal Derby. Pal Derby says league is colluding versus running backs. Tell the New York Giants to stuff it, says Pal Derby. Pal Derby, appreciate you. That's my boy. Let's go on over to, guys, the phone lines are open if you want to dial in. Another super chat here. 14-team redraft, PPR, pick 1.1. What are the chances Olave falls to the 2-3 turn? Wish I knew for sure because would love to start Bijan Olave. Very decent chance he falls to that in a grandma league. In a best ball underdog league, he's not really falling there. But I mean, look at ESPN. If you're drafting, what platform are you drafting on? You got a bunch of analysts out there doing a lot of mock drafts right now, and they put the little, screenshot of the mock draft up, and they have Olave in the third and fourth round. They're like, "How do you like my mock?" It's like, bro, are you really getting Olave in ESPN drafts? And using that as content, you're gonna send somebody into the third round very disappointed. If they're expecting Olave to be there at the 3-4 turn. But, it depends on the format that you're drafting in. You know what I'm saying? If you're on ESPN, you might get him, bro. You might get him. This one here from JCIM, $5 hauler. What do you think about reducing the 3-year minimum after high school to improve long-term running back value? 19 to 20-year-old running back rookies getting into the NFL sooner and playing longer. Potentially. I think a lot of people wonder why the running back is degrading, and the running back isn't lasting as long. And like I said, I've talked to a bunch of different defensive players. One was Eric Davis, former defensive player for the 49ers, and asked him on a live stream once why he believes the running backs are not lasting longer. And he said it's a tougher, stronger, harder hitting game. And I know a lot of people say that it isn't. But it is. I mean, that's coming from a player that played a long time ago. So, this is definitely somebody I would listen to, and I trust his take on it. And it's kind of what I said anyway, because I asked him, is it because as the game's changed? And he said, yeah. So he kind of just confirmed what I always kind of felt was the reasoning. But when you think about it, an RB is getting hit harder, more often, at a younger age, and it's just piling up. It's piling up, and by the time a player gets to the NFL, they've taken a worse beating in their joints and their knees than a running back used to when the running back would land in college. And by the time a player gets in the NFL, it's almost like he's 2 or 3 years older than he used to be in terms of his body. And so, these things could help. Like anything like that could help. I suppose it is something that could be looked at, but it's a harder hitting NFL, and players are taking a beating at such an early age now. It's an unforgiving position. And again, we've talked about this before. A lot of parents are probably going to tell their kids, don't play running back. Little Billy, if you play running back, you're not going to get paid. And so who knows what that does like 7 years down the line. That's another reason why all this has to get fixed somehow, so that we don't see an evolution of the running back change. But even if, like you said, well, you know what? Jahmyr Gibbs is a slot running back. He should get paid more. Doesn't mean anybody's going to pay him more. Doesn't mean he's going to get paid more. He's probably still not going to necessarily get paid more. It just depends on the longevity part too. Like if running backs last longer because they're slot running backs, and it's potentially we do see a change, but I don't know. I just feel like teams are going to still cycle through them, and they're going to break a lot easier because of the beating they take. I want in on the super chats. Please send Scott on a lap. Yeah, Scott, take a lap right now.
I don't think it's all about hitting harder or anything. I don't think they hit harder than they did back in the day. I don't. I don't think the game's as tough as it was back in the day. I do think because of rule changes, and they're going to training camp. They're only allowed to have pads on. They're only allowed to have contact for so long. I think that's all goes into it too.
Definitely definitely a factor. Those little foam helmets do not help. You start protecting people and coddling people, they're not going to know how to take a real hit. So I agree that adds to it.
Right.
But I mean, I have, like I said, talking to former players though. I mean, they say it's a harder NFL run. I mean, the weight training, the people are stronger, faster. I mean, Eric Davis played a while ago. So for him to say the NFL is a harder hitting NFL. Like, I believe him, because he would defend his era.
I'm on Ron's side.
He would defend
for the simple fact, Ron, is there people in today's NFL that hit like Vontez Burfict and Sean Taylor? No, they wouldn't make it in today's NFL. Back then, they made it.
I mean, like I said, I'm going to trust a guy that has played in both, played in the old era and talking about it, but I mean, it's debatable. I get it. It's like any era argument. You're gonna have different people.
A lot of these players are now playing pretty much zero body fat. Back in the day, the longevity took place because these guys had some weight to them. It wasn't just muscle. They had some girth. They had some padding, some natural padding that protected their bodies. Now you're seeing more injuries too because their body fat's so slimmed down, they don't have that padding anymore. So you're going to see more injuries too because of that.
Salty, appreciate your super chat. JCIM, appreciate your super chat. James, thank you guys for dropping that. Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
This is a crazy moment that could go either way. Hopefully Barkley reports, but let's get back to Breece Hall real quick. I know Barkley's a hot topic and everyone wants to talk about it too, so we're definitely hitting it though. I mean, we hit it for a while. Breece Hall, again, if anybody's joining late, Breece Hall is not a concern. Breece Hall is not a concern. Breece Hall is a player that is certainly, going to be eased in week 1, week 2, week 3. I'm not saying they're dialing him back, to any crazy amount, but like, is he going to get 22 carries in week 1? No. Could he get 22 carries like in week 10? Yeah, he could. So like the odds of him being overloaded in early on are not very good, but that doesn't mean he can't be ultra efficient. And so I fully believe that Breece Hall is going to be ready to go for week 1. And unless we hear he has a setback, this is all par for the course with the PUP stuff, just like Pacheco. And I got a caller calling in 4949. You're live on the show. Who's this?
Mile High Magic.
Mile High who?
Magic?
Mile High Magic.
Yep.
I'm gonna maybe let that nickname slide. Usually when someone comes in with a crazy, extravagant nickname, we take it away. But Mile High, let's see how good you do on this call, Mile High Magic. You let me be the decider of this. Go ahead.
So yeah, I just kind of wanted to get your take on. I've been hearing a lot of people talk lately about the Week 17 correlation. I've been on Underdog for 3 years now, close to 1,000 drafts. I've never done Week 17 correlation. I just do my stacks, whatever, get the teams I like, and get good ADP value. So how much value do you put in that Week 17 correlation?
If I could do it naturally, I mean, of course, it's a huge advantage if you can naturally fit it in. The problem I find a lot of people doing is they focus so hard on that they don't even make it to that point. You know what I mean? So it's a happy balance of everything. Just like
See, and that's my thinking is you have to have guys that are going to produce enough to even get you into that next round.
So the trick is, can you find a combination of it? Can you find the matchups? Can you say to yourself, well, this is going to be a shootout here in this, Bengals, Chiefs matchup or whatever in this week. And so I'm going to go ahead and take, even more so lean Burrow over, let's say, going a Hurts or a Mahomes or not a Mahomes in that situation. But I was giving you an example. But at the same time, you also have to factor in like what teams are already clinched the division and what teams are not fighting for anything anymore. Like there's so much that goes into it. Like you could go into week 17, look for that advantage, but then all of a sudden screw yourself because, Hurts plays half of a game, so you got to really look at it all. You got to also assess what you think the records will be. Will teams like the Eagles be even fighting for, the number 1 seed at that point, or will it be locked down? How confident are you in the NFC in general? Are you confident that Mahomes is not going to be shut down early or something like that? Then, I mean, all those things got to be factored in. But at the end of the day, bro, I'm not drafting based on week 17. I'm drafting based on trying to build the best possible team I can build. And if I can get as many stacks naturally into that as I can, awesome. And I'm going to do it. And I'm definitely going to do it. And I love stacking when it falls in naturally. Am I going to draft the best stack I can that has great week 17 situations and the correlations you're talking about? Absolutely. Like, you can, it's hard to fit it all in. It's like playing 3D chess, there's a lot going on, but you can figure it out. You can look at the week 17 matchups and say, I really like that. And then it weighs on you later on when you're on the clock and you're deciding between going Joe Burrow in round 4 or going wide receiver. And you say to yourself, I really like this wide receiver like Dotson later. I'm going to take Burrow here because Burrow in week 17 is going to smash. You just got to make sure you load your mind up as much as possible. And then you have these little things that push you over the edge here and there when you're drafting. But I tell most people, you focus too much on all this peripheral stuff and you won't even make it to the big dance. And, you don't have what you need to go forward. But it's a happy balance, bro. It's a happy balance. There's certainly a lot of strategy at play. It's, there's some people that win that have teams that you look at and are like, okay, that's not quite as good as I would have thought. It's because they had a lot of good things fold their way. You know what I mean? So there is a lot to matchups and such. But you'll have a lot of people tell you can't draft Burrow if you don't have Chase. It's like you can't.
Yeah.
You can't look at it
the
like
way
that.
you're explaining it. That makes sense. That makes sense and is vindicating. But a lot of other people are just getting so galaxy brained about it that I feel they're pigeonholing themselves into that week 17 correlation, and they're going to screw their team.
Yeah, you need to factor it in. You can't ignore the correlations. You can't ignore certain things, but you definitely can't listen to somebody that's like literally telling you can't have over 30% exposure to a certain player because why? Because why? How much
you like the player?
Yeah, how much? What if you land the player? What if I have 80% exposure to a player like Kenneth Walker last year and you land him? Guess what? I got that many more opportunities to win because I had that monster at the end of my draft on all 17 of these drafts right here instead of 4 of them. So you could sink the entire ship, but that's part of what your strategy could be. I call that brute force drafting. You brute force your way into a certain strategy and you just keep applying it over and over. Do you know how many teams, bro? How many teams I have that look almost identical? I have at least, I would say, in the puppy slows and in the Pomeranians alone. The last Pomeranian. What is it? Pomeranian 3, Ron, or 2? What was the last Pom? Pom 2?
The last Poodle was the last.
Poodle 2? Was it Poodle 2?
Poodle 3.
Poodle 3. So in the Poodle 3, I'm just talking the last 2 series that we've been doing slows on. Puppy slows that we're doing right now, and the Poodle 3. In just those 2 series alone, I can't tell you how many teams have Burrow, Bijan, Gibbs, and like London, like all like a combination like that. I mean, London might not be the one receiver that I would say I identify, but like I have like literally like 60% of my teams that I've drafted, hundreds of teams that have the same like structure, and then it's just like I'm building different variants of it. And if I don't land it, I don't land it, and I'm okay with that. I'm not an idiot. I realize that if Bijan, Gibbs, and Burrow go out and get hurt, those teams are all done. But if they don't, if I'm right and I'm banking on myself, if I land that, guess what happens? I have 100 different variants of it, and if I land those other pieces of it, straight to the moon. So it's like do you take in as much information as you can, but don't let these Excel sheet Erics, like tell you got to do these things. You don't have to do anything. You do what you want. Just
all right.
Make your own assessment.
One last thing before I go, though. This will make you laugh. Today I saw somebody do a handshake bet for $500 that Adam Thielen would get 100 catches this season.
Woo!
And I'll let you ruminate on the ridiculousness of that.
I mean, anything can happen, but that certainly feels like a wager I would take.
I mean, last season Jefferson got 123.
Yeah, I mean, look, could he get spoon-fed? Yeah, but like, is he going to stay healthy at that volume? I would highly, highly doubt it. Like, even if somehow the volume was there for that, which is not. If let's say he stayed healthy, I mean, that would still be a great, like, I would take that all day long. So that's hilarious. Adam
all
Thielen.
Right,
this
have
guy
a good day, guys.
must be an Adam Thielen truther. All right, hey, appreciate you, Salty, or Mile High. Hold on, Mile High Magic.
Yeah.
Mile High Magic. We're going to leave that name, young man. You earned it. You didn't call in it with any ridiculousness. Sometimes someone calls in and their name's like the Fantasy Lord, and we're like, bro, we're not leaving you with that nickname. Or I'm the Fantasy Master. It's like, no. we're taking that. We're naming you something else, and bro, we're gonna leave you as Mile High Magic. You've earned it, pal.
Roger that. Yeah, that's my underdog name, so that's why I came up with it. But yeah,
well, it stays.
Have a good day, guys.
Later. It stays. Approved.
You've just been Smitty approved.
That's how you.
Yeah,
call
what
it.
I would have asked him, how much he said he was doing over 1,000 drafts over the last 3 years. So, how's his success? I mean, how's he done doing things like that? If he's had success with it, don't change it how you're drafting.
Yeah.
If you're not having to look at doing other things.
Yeah, or if you feel like you did well, but you had a couple injuries and you're still not letting that sway you away. You know what I mean? Like, example,
Or your game canceled on your ass because NFL.
By the way, Isaiah Pacheco, and this was in the comments earlier, was seen practicing in training camp Wednesday. So here we go. Smitty, I'm so worried about Pacheco going on the PUP. Smitty, I'm so worried about Breece Hall going on the PUP. Pacheco, yesterday, we reported PUP. Panic was going to set in. I guess panic's not going to set in too long because Pacheco, labrum, was seen practicing in training camp Wednesday. He's fine. Breece Hall's fine. I hope everybody knee-jerk reacts and Breece Hall tumbles down ADP boards. I hope he just tumbles. Just rolls down hills. ADP hills everywhere. Real quickly, and I'm going to go to Bruce because Bruce hasn't talked for a minute. I just want to get these super chats out of the way. Oren says, full PPR, redraft, superflex, throwing TDs are 6 points. Pick 9. Fields, Herbert, gone. Go T-Law or trade down. Try Bijan round 2 or trade down and try for Wilson. I'd take T-Law in a heartbeat. at the pick 9 in a 6-point per TD league. Haven't you ever heard that T. Law soaks his mane in milk, bro? His mane. This beautiful, lion's mane that he has on the back of his head. He soaks it in milk, bro.
Law Dog Milk for manes on sale this season. Soak your mane and win a league. Law Dog Milk.
Pour, soak, win, Superflex smash. I love the idea of Bijan or Garrett Wilson in round 2, though. So definitely you're on the right track, and that's exactly how I would approach things. I wish you got Fields, but Trevor Lawrence at the 9 pick in a Superflex is fantastic. Don't even hesitate. To Ron's defense, James Harrison just hit 535-pound bench press at 50-something years old, but I bet they hit about the same. Aaron Donald benches 500 pounds and runs faster than 99% of the population. So, look, I get what everyone's going to say on this, but again, I've talked to several players that played in the era that a lot of people say was, the older era was faster, stronger. And it's a debate. Like it's like any era debate, like Jordan, LeBron. There is no answer. So Ron's fine to have his opinion on it, and he's not wrong. I'm not right or wrong. My assessment, and it was before I had the conversations, was, is it because players are taking, like, Pop Warner's better, high school's better, college is better. College is so much faster and stronger and better than it used to be. These wide receivers who never came into the National Football League and did well their rookie year. Wide receivers are coming in, and wide receivers could have a top 5 wide receiver season. That never, ever happened. If you go back to even like Larry Fitzgerald when he was a rookie wide receiver. When you drafted Larry Fitzgerald in fantasy, and I remember because I did content back then, Larry Fitzgerald was going to get you 700 or 800 yards and 3 or 4 or 5 touchdowns max. You almost didn't draft him in a rookie wide receiver in redraft. You almost would never, ever, ever touch a rookie wide receiver in redraft. And it's just everything about the game has changed and evolved. And so even if you say the NFL is not as hard hitting as it used to be, or it's equal, let's just say that, it's still to the point of what I'm saying is Pop Warner, you're getting hit harder now. And you watch a high school game and you're like, but this looks like a college game. Back in the day, high school, especially, back when some of us went to high school, you watched the game, those guys couldn't round corners. It looked like they were playing in Pop Warner. Now you go to a true high school football game, go to a football game in Texas, it looks like you're watching college football. These guys are refined. They're strong. They look like college players. It's insane. And so my point is, you take hits at a younger age, the way that some of these kids are taking hits, especially the RB, where it's all about explosion, your knees and everything. It just, by the time these guys get to the college level, they have more damage to their bodies that you can't really measure. It's like a shorter shelf life. They get to the college level, they've got a shorter shelf life to begin with. And then, they get into the pros and they get abused and run into the ground to some of the points we've been talking about today, where the teams just want to wear them down and then get rid of them. Not to mention rookie running backs are as much used as ever, so it's not like they're eased in, really. Rookie running backs can have top 10, top 12 running back seasons with ease. So
they're smaller.
Yeah, in some cases. Overcome says to run. Okay, so that was that one. Then the second super chat says, Smitty, I sent you a DM with a trade if you don't mind chiming in. DM where though, Eric? Because that telling me you sent me a DM is like telling me, hey Smitty, I waved, when I drove by your house. Like I don't know where that DM is. DM where? On Instagram? In what chat is it? Is it in the exclusive members chat on Instagram potentially? Let me go to that and see if we got anything in there. I don't see anything in there. So, Eric, I don't know where this would be. Let me know. Okay. What, Ron?
Another reason why you're seeing the wide receivers come in to the NFL and have success is the colleges back in the day, they were running wishbone and stuff like that, geared backs, and now they're running pro-style offenses in college. And even some in high school. So that's the big difference there. That's why they're more ready.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons why. But they definitely come in, so much more fine-tuned. You know, they come in.
Yeah.
I mean, these wide receivers, especially from just a few colleges, man, they're wide receiver producing colleges, will spit out JJs and Jamar Chases and, and LSU's just handing them out. Ohio State just handing them out. Here's a top 5 wide receiver. Go get some. Wouldn't let me super chat that word. Can you super chat the word Twitter? Yeah, I'm sure you could. Just spell it differently if for some reason it's not letting you. I don't know why it wouldn't let you super chat the word Twitter. I've seen it before.
Just use it. Hi.
Yeah, say tweeter. Say tweeter.
Water.
Eric, appreciate you, but I'm looking for the DM. I don't know where the DM is, but let me know if you have another question. Brucey hung up. Phone line's open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I don't know if there's anything else that I was going to touch on today other than the Pacheco situation, the Breece Hall situation. Then we went in the direction of we were going to talk Leonard Fournette. So real briefly, Ron, do you have any concerns with Ramondre Stevenson, given that Bill Belichick is like hell-bent on bringing in either Fournette or Dalvin Cook? And the amount of money Dalvin Cook's asking for, it wouldn't be backup money. It wouldn't be starter money, but it certainly wouldn't be backup money. So the fact, maybe that's why they're going to Leonard Fournette, because they lowballed Dalvin Cook. But Vegas had Dalvin Cook just yesterday as the odds-on favorite to land in New England. So that was crazy. But now Leonard Fournette is working out for the Patriots. I just got to say, like, it seems like they're really trying hard to get another RB in there. And it's smart to have RBs, but, I mean, does this give you any hesitation with Ramondre?
It's typical Belichick. I mean, a little bit, because you know how Belichick, he'll be hot on a running back for a couple of weeks, then he'll switch it up, and that running back won't do anything because he's playing another running back.
It scares me a little bit.
Yeah,
and
that's what Belichick loves to do.
And Stevenson never, for whatever reason, he doesn't feel like a long-term guy. You know what I mean? Like, I've always been worried. Like, I loved him. Obviously, we pumped him up hardcore last year. We love Stevenson, even the year prior. But in Dynasty, I find myself saying to myself, you're not going to have him 3 years from now. I don't know that he feels like a 3-4 year guy go for it. He feels like a 1 year at a time, situation. And I just doesn't feel good for me. Not that Leonard Fournette's going to vulture much. This is not a big concern, but it's a concern enough, with, like you said, the track record of Bill, and that he has been quick to rotate, and the fact that Stevenson ended the season with pretty much 2 doghouse moves. I right after the season ended, I said to everybody on a live stream, I said, I wonder if this is going to trickle into next year. Like, I wonder if we should be worried about Stevenson, fumbling and making bad decisions and then throwing a game away.
Yeah, but it wasn't threw that ball to the Raider. I mean, he threw the ball to his teammate.
Right.
And it was that team that threw the ball to the Raider.
But Bill was pissed, though. Bill was pissed that he even triggered that. That's what I was saying is, like, yeah, I mean, he didn't end up causing the turnover, but it's like Bill was like, take a knee, and he didn't. And he threw the ball back, and regardless, he triggered a loss. And so Bill was reportedly very pissed at him. I mean, it would have went to overtime, and the Raiders, walked a special teams touchdown in because Ramondre didn't kneel down and take it to OT. So anyway, it's concerning. Frankie 2.0, you're on the line. What's up? You're live.
Hey, what's going on, Smitty? Hey, guys, for sure, you're bringing up some great points about what's happening with these players. I'm a high school coach in Texas, so I've been doing this a long time. And
sounds like one.
The development of a player, it's a lot of it with the spread offense. It's the 7-on-7. That's what's really making it happen. When 7-on-7 got introduced, that these kids can do it all summer long. They compete. Our guys are competing 7-on-7. They go to All-State. You got the best of the best skilled players facing each other that are dual players, defensive back receivers facing each other, spread open. These quarterbacks are so precision with their throwing That's why this is why that NFL has developed these kind of players. These guys can come in so early. You see the Jackson Smith and Jigba. You see Marvin Harrison.
It looks like
Jr.
college.
About to come out.
High school looks like college now.
Absolutely.
It looks like college.
It is, and I've been doing this a long time and for decades, and this is what has changed these players to be so good. And I've seen it firsthand with our player development. It's 7-on-7. These guys do it year round. Once football season's over, these guys do it. They're they go to the football. They're doing this all day long. The skill players throwing to their skill players and developing, and so that's what's changed, and that's the development of these players. And these running backs have got they can do everything, throw it from the back, whatever. You throw it from these guys can line up, and they're like you said, Smitty, Texas players, these guys are like, they're built different. So it's like Florida, California, a lot around the nation, but these guys are built different, the way their development of their power is, and I see it day in and day out in our program. And so, for sure, it can attest to what you're saying, Smitty. And another thing, too, I'm going to bring up, talking about where it all changed, too, with these running backs, these multiple running backs. It happened with Bill Belichick. When he started doing with Antoine Smith, Kevin Falk, years ago when they were winning those Super Bowls, everybody started seeing what they were doing. And that's how it started, that reduce of that running back started happening, that multiple running back. And he kept them there for decades, it seemed like. These guys were with him for a long time, riding these Super Bowls. And it started changing then. Bill Belichick really, and that's when everybody would kind of say, you know what, they're doing that. Why don't we do that? They don't even pay their running back that much at all. Corey Dillon came from Cincinnati. That was the only guy that he brought in, really. Corey had a couple good seasons with him, but Corey Dillon at the time he was their main guy, but he played on a horrible team with the Bengals back in the 90s and things like that. But it really started changing a lot at that time of Bill Belichick. And that's when it all changed. And I saw it firsthand as a football coach. Wow, this is something different here. He's using multiple backs, and things like that. And now you see it across. So Bill Belichick's a big part of why you see these guys and teams changing to multiple backs now. That why pay the running back when we can do multiple backs?
Yeah, and back to your high school point, like I was saying, and it goes both ways. Like the fact that they're so good at the high school level means they're going to be so much better at the college level, which means they're going to enter the pros as finally tuned. But it also goes that since they're so good, they're hitting harder, they're hitting stronger, and like you said, there's so many more plays get run. Like in the chat, whoever said that, you run X number more plays than ever before, so the mileage is there, and that all adds up. It's all crazy, and so you just get the mileage and wear and tear. But yeah, the running back. What?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say real quickly, and I just interject this before all it is now that we run in Texas, it's volume. You want volume. You want as many plays. You want to get up to 70 to 80 plays a game, 90 plays a game, and that's what you want to do. It's all volume. If we don't get the 70 plays a game, it's we want to get up to around that 75, 80, and that's what you want to do.
As a coach, in seeing this firsthand, would you say that a player entering college is much more wear and tear than he would have back in the day, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to tell you this. We just had a meeting last month with all the coaches. We had our summer meeting as we get ready for the new year, schedules, checking everything. This is something that I brought up because it's coming out now with the NFL. I heard Colt McCoy in your backyard over there in Arizona. He just said this on a podcast about a month ago, saying that the turf itself, and it's going to change in the NFL, probably the next NFL, they want to go grass field because this turf, their bodies are getting beat up. They're playing pretty much on cement. Like Colt McCoy said, he takes so many hits that he feels like it's just that turf. It's like almost like cement to them, and the way they land on that thing, it's not soft. And high school's been doing that, going a lot of now turf is everywhere, but over time, high school's going to change that. Go back to grass field. It's just better for the player.
Yeah.
They get injured a lot on that turf. That turf, I'm going to tell you right now, it's 118 degrees here in Texas. During the summer that we're about to get going, that turf is like their shoes are melting. It is so hot that even in the mornings when doing training, it's just unbearable. And with all their equipment on and things like that, these guys, we got to keep them hydrated so much now because of the turf itself. It's hotter than a regular grass.
It's crazy. Field. It's crazy, bro. But back to the NFL. Back to the NFL real quick. The NFL running back situation. So let me hear your take, Frankie, on what you think about the running backs. And so coming from a coach, like I want to hear your perspective. That's probably different than everybody's, and it may be in line with ours. It may not. You don't have to feel like you got to say a certain thing too. I want you to be honest with your gut feeling. But as a coach, like, what do you think about the RB position? Like, what is the solution to you? Is it along the lines of taking away the franchise tag, shorter contracts for running backs? Or do you honestly feel like it is what it is, like Barkley said, from a coaching perspective or an ownership perspective, that the position, it's self-governing itself? Or do you feel it's wrong? Like, what is your take on it in general, and what do you think happens?
Absolutely, for sure. I think there's a lot of great points that everybody's brought up as well. And as I've been listening the past couple of days, and I'm always on here, so I think everybody's made valid points and trying to figure a solution. But I would say this: I think the best solution here is go to that NBA contract. You got these running backs that need to be at a 3-year contract. Let them get a prime contract early in their career. By 3 years, you already know if you have a running back. You'll know already the first 2 years. They adapt so quickly to the NFL. They come in, they can expect like an Isaiah Pacheco. That guy's already in. Things like that. These guys will come in, they'll make a name for themselves. So I would say go shorter contract, get 3 years, and they get another big contract. Now you really can lever and get that big contract. You're still in your prime. You're not wore down. And maybe there might be another guy that might get a second contract after. He might say, 2-year contract, give me a good 2, and I'll renew again for that 3rd year. I'm still in my prime. So I think that's just my own perspective. I think is a shorter contract. I think that's going to solve everything. Just it's kind of like LeBron James. Look what these NBA players do now. They just get short contracts. You don't even see these 5-6 years. They say, no, I'll come
2
out
years
for
somewhere.
4 years.
2 years
That's
somewhere,
right.
and then they're
they
gone.
keep renewing it.
But
that is a smart thing to do.
It is.
So
but
I think that might be a point.
Is it something the league and the owners are going to let happen, though? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's going to be the other perspective. That's the other point you're bringing up. That's a great point. Yeah.
What do you think? He wants to know what part of Texas you're in.
What part of Texas? I'm in San Antonio, so that area.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
All right. Yeah.
Hey, Frankie, Breece Hall.
My sister that lives.
Breece Hall.
So.
Actually, let me ask you on Barkley. If you're sitting there at 3.2, 3.3, are you taking Barkley right now, or are you fading him?
No, I'm taking Barkley all day. Yeah. I'm taking him there. I don't think he's gonna come back. Now the only thing with Barkley there is going to be the soft tissue injuries, things like that. We see that they come in so late. Their little things will come up. It's going to be the soft tissue injury for him. If he prolongs this will be the soft tissue injury.
I know.
That's what happens to most of these players. But I would take him all day. I think he's going to come back. I think Jacobs will be back
in the 3rd round.
They're not going to miss out that much money.
Yeah, you know what? You know what's going to be weird, and this is where people get confused on my content. They're like, Smitty, I watched a video from you 2 weeks ago, and you said to take Barkley, and now you're saying don't take Barkley. Like, people don't follow why I do what I do and how I do it. But Barkley, with the threat of holdout in the 3rd round, is a steal right now. I jump on him all day long in the 3rd round. And again, Ron said he wouldn't touch him until the Kenneth Walker territory, and that's, you can understand that. I totally respect everyone's take on it. No one knows what the hell is going to happen. He could sit out the entire year. Ron could be right. So there's no craziness here. But for me, I'm taking that gamble all day. But here's what's going to be weird is that if he holds out, bro, and he holds out all the way through August, and we get really close to September 1, and we got some drafts going on, and all of a sudden he reports and he's coming back, his value is going to skyrocket back up because he's going to play and everyone knows he's going to play. I might fade him at that point because then the injury risk is high and his ADP is climbing back up to high, and that's the point where I'm out. So this is a player that I'm going to be like all over the place on because of the value, the cost of entry. Barkley holding out or he's not technically even holding out because he's not under contract, but Barkley not signing his deal and not reporting and not coming to the team activities and getting, taking football hits and being on the field. And you're a coach, Frankie, it's different working out than going out on the field and cutting and building cohesion with your team. Look at Deebo Samuel being so out of it for so long last offseason, waiting for that contract. He was off his game all year long. So for me, the longer he holds out, the more likely he is going to get hurt, as you said, soft tissue injuries. And I'm not back in once he climbs back into the mid-second round. I'm not. Not if he's held out for 3-4 weeks from now, if he's been sitting out. So it's a very touchy subject for me, and I'm going to be all over the place on it just to warn people, depending on where you're getting them and at what time.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, Smitty, your analysis, and that's something I enjoy listening to, and me being a coach, you're always really good and you really know your stuff. And I can only just affirm that and things like that. I really enjoy your depth of what you teach to everybody about football, and, you know, me too as well, you know, and you're always learning. The game is always evolving, you know, and always changing. And so you always have to adapt. Who would have thought that we would be doing RPOs 20 years ago, the open spread offenses and things like that? No one in the world would have thought that where we're at right now. So the game is always evolving. It will evolve continuously. Still, the next 20 years, football probably will look different from today.
Hey,
so the game will continue changing. So,
are you hearing things since you're at the high school level, are you hearing things about players not wanting to play RB, you know, because of this?
Exactly the question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah. Like, are you?
No.
Not yet. It hasn't trickled there yet.
No.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't trickled. No, these guys want the ball in their hands, and these guys, you know,
I wondered that.
If they, you know, no, but nobody. And these kids, you know, they want to, you know, they're trying to make a name for themselves, and if they got the ball in their hand, they're going to do what they got to do. But
that's gonna maybe self-govern this and not allow it to get out of hand to where, you know, the running back, like, yeah, you might tell your kid don't play running back, but your running back is that damn football. And you know, and you could probably bank on this thing getting resolved. Imagine stepping away from that position, you know, because you're afraid about money, and you make your decision based on money, and then by the time you're ready to go pro, it's the highest paid position in the league. You're like, what the hell did I do? They put so yeah. I wondered if that was trickling down into the high school level yet, but it would take a lot of time for something to evolve in the evolution of like a change like that. So I didn't think it was affecting it yet, but you have a lot of people saying no one's going to want to play running back. No one's going to want to play running back, but I'm with you. I think that is the most highlighted position, and more so of a reason why this spotlight needs to be on it, and the RB's got to get taken care of because it is such an important position. I think Bijan and Gibbs are going to help motivate this conversation, especially from the fan base's perspective, and applying pressure on the NFL and the owners and the situation in general to say, look at these two monsters, Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan. Why in the hell aren't running backs taken care of? And hopefully some teams start investing in them differently too, off of Bijan and Gibbs. You know, like next year, maybe a running back for sure goes in round 1 now. This is a very different year, but if there's an elite running back, and we're going to break down all the running backs, just get ready. The rookie running back breakdowns are coming really soon. We're going to do it a lot earlier than normal. But we're gonna see a team or two like dabble on RB in round 1 if Gibbs and Bijan explode, you know.
And I will reiterate, just to affirm what you just said, and just to confirm it, I should say, the RB is the last line of defense now, because when we took the fullback away, you took that I formation, that guy was a blocker, if you remember. That guy was always the blocker, protecting quarterback. You know, you handed off. And when you took that fullback, now that we don't even have that fullback anymore, that last line of defense now, because now the linemen are even spread a little bit off. You know, they open up the line. Now we got gaps in the line, but that's the way the offense is made for screens and stuff like that. These guys got to pull quickly. The thing about this is that now the last line of defense is your RB blocking. So if you take the RB away or anything like that, he is so important to the offense of what you do.
Good point.
But people don't realize that. They don't
point.
see that and things like that, because now the line is wide open. Look at the NFL. The linemen are pulled open. I mean, there's space now that the defensive tackles can get through there, but there's a reason why. There's going to be a quick out, quick play. It's going to go, and these guards got to pull quickly and things like that. So that RB is the last line.
I love how you're hey Frankie, I love how you're whispering so no one else like hears you right now. That's amazing. You're getting in your vibe, and it's like you're talking to me. It's like he's talking to me right now, and he doesn't want anybody else to hear. He's like, look, Smitty, it's just between you and I right now. But this thing.
Yeah. Listen, I'm kind of getting that coaches in the meeting, man. We're in the office here, Smitty. We're moving things around, brother.
Bro.
And but I'll tell you, that's what that running back is, that last line of defense, though. So it's going to be he's so important to the spread offense. If you take the running back away, the spread offense doesn't work, because that quarterback's going to get killed all the time. And even not a mobile quarterback, and that's why you see these mobile quarterbacks now that have exploded now, because you need a mobile quarterback, because if he's pressured, he has to get out, because that running back missed that block, he has to move out. You have to put an athletic quarterback. Now, the game is changing for athletic quarterbacks. We're seeing it already. But in a couple of years, it's going to be all athletic quarterbacks. That's just the way it's going.
The moment Frankie saves a coach, I knew it immediately as he said, "I'm like, yeah, this guy is a coach." The way, how quickly, how to the point you are when you're talking. Sound like you're disciplining me, or you're setting me up. You get your life straight, Smith. You're gonna get your life straight. You want to be on the field. You want to get to college. I'm gonna.
Frankie's got that Dan Campbell vibe to him.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I appreciate that, Ron.
I think we need Frankie. I think we need Frankie like
You're a
to.
motivator.
I need to get Frankie like a segment to where like we need Frankie to like sit Scott down, scared Scott, and like really like Scott, you got to think about your actions. You keep getting booted from the show. We need some sort of like Frankie music and some kind of like speech. All right,
Well,
Frankie.
I appreciate it, Smitty.
Appreciate
All right,
you,
man,
pal.
I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Have a good one.
Coach Frankie 2.0. Appreciate you, man.
Have much time with Frankie. Or
Yeah.
something like that. That would be cool.
Frankie's a good guy. Someone said, breathe, Frankie, breathe. He doesn't breathe. He doesn't need to breathe. Don't tell him what to do. Don't tell him what to do, Atlanta. He doesn't want to breathe. He doesn't have to breathe. That's like when someone says, Smitty, go to sleep. No, I don't want to sleep. I want to be live. Okay?
But he was talking, and it's like he was on the field talking to his players.
Yeah.
That's how I like saw it in my head.
Yeah.
That's how it came across.
I love when he whispered though. I love when he's like, where to go do it? Halfback switch. Blue 32, 27. Hut. Okay. Anyway. All right, Ron. Any final thoughts? We went long today, but I mean we're ending early, but we went long because I started at like 3 something my time, and then we.
You went the same amount of time that you normally go.
Yeah, I
just started early.
Yeah, just started early with the news. But any final thoughts, Ron?
Yeah. I always got final thoughts.
Yeah.
So I need a couple more. What do you call it? Bold predictions is what I need.
From me?
No, I need to give some bold predictions.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So, I mean, I get a bold prediction from the other day, right? So,
yeah.
I'm going to say that that Hopkins ends with double-digit touchdowns, 1,300 yards, and let me be bolder. Let me say 1,400 yards and over 100 receptions.
Hopkins 114 and how many touchdowns?
Double digits. Let's say 12.
Okay. What's today? Today's July 17, right? 19? July 19?
Yeah.
Okay. Ron Mabey. Hopkins 114, 12. Anything else, Ron?
Yeah, I'll keep my other bold predictions in the bank for right now.
All right. You store it.
I got 2 more predictions coming.
You store it. Whoa. Ron dropped a 9. We don't have a button for this, Ron. This is the only button I can put for a $100 hauler.
Alert. Panic mode initiated.
I love setting you up and surprising you.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Ron purchasing 2 more bold predictions for the board that he wants to bank and put in his back pocket. Appreciate you, Ron Navy. Goodness gracious, Ron. Ron's keeping the show alive. Man, that was a good show. A lot of good like NFL conversation, I think, and
that was an awesome show.
Isaac dropping a $10 hauler says the Bears are choosing their starting running back based on who can protect Justin Fields best. Since when do you draft RBs to primarily pass and run block for a QB? Isn't that what the O-line's for? Shaking my head, says Isaac. Well, I mean, everybody's got a perspective, but I think you definitely are concerned about keeping your quarterback upright. And Khalil Herbert is on that note. I would say Khalil Herbert is borderline Moonman material right now in my eyes. I don't think I can fit him. I need to redo the satellite man list so we can put some players like that on a list and not just like leave it be and say, "Oh, I don't have room for the Moon Man list." We need another list because guys like Herbert need to be talked about. There's so many players I want to like highlight without having to force somebody off the Moon Man list or on the Moon Man list. So definitely feel like we need to have more Khalil Herbert conversations. Guy was the number 1 yards per carry running back in the National Football League last year. So on this note of the Chicago Bears, I think he is going to be a gem. I like Roshan a lot. You can cuff him. Those are the 2 RBs I would bank on in that backfield, to be honest. But thank you, Isaac, for the $10 hauler. All to the moon. Jeez, that's loud. All $10 haulers go to the moon. Appreciate you, Isaac. Okay, Smitty, should I trade Amari Cooper for Swift and Terry? Yes, if you enjoy winning, I would probably take Scary Terry and Swift because, honestly, I think Scary Terry and Cooper are very comparable, and you're getting a free stab at this DeAndre Swift character that nobody, either people love or they hate, and you're getting a free shot at him. So I'd go ahead and take that. And I do love McLaurin still. You know, he's older, but Amari Cooper is no spring chicken, and Amari Cooper is no reliable, Roger. So definitely would be okay with that. Minnesota will be this year's old KC, Larry Johnson coming in after injuries to the starter. Do you like Keen? Do you like McBride killers? I mean, but McBride's got like a fumbling problem. There's some concerns, but like his metrics are through the roof. McBride's a really good prospect. Just a lot of concern for, like I said, the fumbling and some other issues. But I mean, God, that guy's got a lot of talent. You know what I'm saying? I really like McBride, but Ty Chandler still, in the mix, bro. Appreciate you, killers, my boy. Panic says Mile High Magic. All right, Ron, any final thoughts?
Nope. I think that's about it.
All right.
What I got.
Appreciate your $100 hauler there, Ron. Let's
I had to share the wealth. I hit that pick 'em.
Yeah, Ron's like, I don't know if this is like, Ron, put your earmuffs on for a second. I don't know if we need to have a conversation with Ron, but he's now doing baseball. He's now doing underdog baseball almost more than he's doing underdog football. So I don't know if Ron needs a talking to or if he's found a new, found like money-making machine. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll see how he does. But the things this guy's doing right now are concerning me. Are you doing golf, Ron, on Underdog Fantasy?
Yeah. I've done a few golf. I've done a few tennis. I did the hot dog eating contest.
And you won that one, right? I mean, I don't know. I like.
Hey,
don't take this.
Golf. He's what got me started in it.
Don't take this the wrong way. Don't take this the wrong way, but it seems to be you're winning more outside of the football realm. I mean, you've been showing me these winners constantly.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
A little fresh look-see at a different sport, maybe. Get on over to Underdog Fantasy. We'll be drafting tomorrow night. The link is in the live chat. I'm putting it in there right now, actually, and it's also in the description of this video and every video. You what?
You know that, right?
What?
The puppy pass is filled. It's no more, so you just got the puppy slow now.
Yeah, I like the puppy slows though. There's a lot left, right? So I'm good with those.
Yeah, there's a lot left.
All right, Ron. We'll see you later, pal.
All right, have a good one.
Oh, Ron, I hung up. Go ahead and call back real quick if you want to finish what you're saying. I've done golf on accident, says Okafor. How do you do golf on accident? How do you accidentally do an underdog golf contest, bro? I don't know if I buy that. Ron, if you're trying to say something, jump back on. Killers, appreciate you. Henry, appreciate you. Mile High Magic, my boy. Derek, Slater, I'm going to see you all. We never do this. Little ending countdown. We're going to start moving this time. Or we're moving this time. We're not going to start moving this time. We're moving this time the 7 p.m. show is going to turn into, let's see here. Let me move this. It's going to turn into the 8 p.m. show. So I don't know if you guys were here for it earlier, but let me know in the chat what you think you would. Don't forget the cat, he said. Okay, thank you, Ron. So soon we're going to be 8 p.m. Eastern instead of 7. And if you guys could let me know real quickly in the chat how that's going to affect you, it's probably not going to change my decision, but it so far I just like knowing how it's going to go over with you guys. What's up, Ron?
Don't forget the cat.
The cat. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you.
All right. Later.
All right. Later, Ron. All right. We'll start this over again. We're gonna start doing the countdown. I think on the way out the door. I kind of like this. Super chat resets it or something like that. But 8 p.m. Can you guys real quickly in the chat let me know how that affects you? Again, probably not changing anything if you don't like it, but I'd love to know how when someone tells me it's actually better for me. Oh my God, it's 5 p.m. West Coast time versus 4. It's much better for me. Or I'm in the car driving, it's perfect. Or 8 p.m. whatever. But we're gonna go 8 p.m. and it's not gonna change the amount of time we go live, but I'm gonna go 8 p.m. Eastern starting August 1st instead of 7. So it's gonna be 5 p.m. my time. Right now I go live at 4 p.m. It's kind of an awkward time. I did it based on, 7 p.m. Eastern when I first started the show. But I feel like 8 p.m.'s a very interesting time. I feel like 5 p.m. Sorry. I feel like 5 p.m. is here's Scott again. Scott, will there be at the 8 p.m. show? Scott, take a lap. Unbelievable. You really like getting on Miss Smitty's bad side, Scott. She's already said F Scott, on the text message to me. You want her to say it more? 8 p.m. Eastern, August 1st. The show will be starting at 8 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. We're still going live whenever news breaks. This will probably allow me to go live more often near the noon and, 1 p.m. time frames because it's not as close to the show for me. Ron Navy dropping a 20.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Ron Navy dropping a 20 watt on screen, extending the show for at least 2 minutes. Any $20 hauler extends the show 2 minutes at the end of the show. Okay, so let's set this timer for 2 minutes and give Ron's super chat the respect it deserves. 2-minute timer. Here we go. Boom. Thank you, Ron, for extending the show. Everybody give Ron a thank you. Oren says, Smitty, pick 2 now. Superflex. Pick 2 now. Is that like a Oren? Pick 2 now. Superflex. Is that Superflex or is okay? Superflex, Kelsey, Bijan, or trade to 1.1. Pick 2. Are you on the clock now? Is that what you mean? Superflex, Kelsey, Bijan, or trade to the 1.1 guy. I mean, if it's Superflex, is this what you're trying to say? Superflex. Oren, clarify here. Clarify what you're talking about here. Rhino likes the change. Scott, take a lap. 8 is great. It looks like everybody likes 8 for the most part. Like I'm getting like an 80% vibe that this is the better time. Like part of me is like, maybe I should have done 8 the first time I ever started the show. Is Cortez still here? Cortez, you called in. I don't know if Cortez called in. Oren, did you update me? Oren, what are we doing here? Show ID. I get a midget sidekick. No thanks, Scott. Scott, take a lap. Take a lap. You don't even use that term anymore, Scott. I did a super chat earlier. Got the 1.9 Superflex. Oren, can you call in real quick? And let's hash this out. Please call in real quick. I just got Justin Fields in a Best Ball Mania at the 6.1. That is crazy, bro. I love it. 6.1. Let's go. Jack like Frank, the coach, his caller. He said W call. Oren, call in real quick and let's hash this out real quickly. I gotta go, but I want to take care of you. Ron Sugar Daddy says Daniel. Maybe he can be your sugar daddy, Daniel. Maybe he can adopt you. Haha says Killers. Or Oren says I super chatted you. Call in, Oren. I've got the phone line up. I want to help you with this. 8 is perfect, says Sandy. Good. Great job, Ron. Next time I'll match that amount. Derek says, Smitty, you deserve every penny. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate you. Show is awesome. Thank you, Hector. Appreciate you. We got 140 of you still in the building. Hit that thumb up button on your way out the door. We got 200 thumbs up. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good day. Pretty good show. Oren, I'm waiting for you here. The fake Oracle. Is that you, Oren? Oren, you're Oren?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
this
fake
Oren.
I got you as the fake Oracle on the phone line.
Yeah, I made a bad take last year. That was my punishment.
What was your bad take?
I forget. It was a while ago now.
Yeah, this guy said he wanted to be called the Oracle, and you know how I said earlier that we don't allow people to.
Nah, that was you. You gave me that name.
No, I know, but I think. Oh, okay, I don't remember. But anyway, what's up, fake Oracle? So give me the lay of the land real quickly.
All right, we're doing a super flex, 6 points for a throw touchdown.
Yep.
For QBs.
Yep.
Other than that, it's a pretty normal draft. And I got the 1.9. I did a super chat earlier. You were saying go T-Law.
Yeah, for sure.
I did that.
Okay.
The man with the milk mane. Now I'm at the 2 pick. Bijan is still on the board. Kelsey is on the board. I think the 2 point. Here, give me a second. The 2 point.
It's premium, tight end premium.
No premium.
Okay.
It's 2.4.
It's Bijan, bro.
No tight end premium.
It's Bijan.
Bijan?
It's Dynasty. It's Bijan.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I love.
No. It's a redraft.
Oh, redraft. It's still Bijan.
Superflex redraft.
It's still Bijan. I mean.
Okay. I could also.
I like Garrett Wilson, but
I could try and trade it down to like the guy with Patrick Mahomes. I was thinking, and maybe get a second and a third, or a third and a fourth, or something like that.
I don't mind that idea if, like, let's say you were able to get like Walker and Gibbs for this pick, then it would obviously be beneficial. So if like you can look at it and you feel very confident you're getting like those 2 quality players, then I mean, would you take Walker and Gibbs for Bijan? I mean, some might not, but I mean that's it's a really good amount of talent to add. Or Garrett. You could say Garrett. Let's use Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson and Gibbs for Bijan. I'd take Garrett Wilson and Gibbs, or something like that, or Olave and Gibbs for Bijan. I'd take that. I hate to say it, but I would. So if you could get a second and a third for this pick for your, a third and a fourth for your second, and not give up like your 5th rounder, though. It's a very different conversation. If you're gonna like give back something that evens the scale, then it's not the same trade.
Yeah.
Make the guy
Understood.
give you the world. You tell him Kelsey's mine, you son of a b. He's mine, and he's gonna be like, no. I'll give you my 3rd and 4th rounder. Give me your 5th. No, you want it? Here, final. I'm gonna pick him right now. You want it or not? You just rush the hell out of him. He'd be like, I'll give you the 3rd and 4th rounder. Okay. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Done.
Yeah. All right, bro.
Smash.
But other than that, I mean, you're talking about like you're getting a home run. You're getting T-Law, Bijan. You're starting off hot. So love it. Either way, I'm on board.
Much.
All right, bro.
Awesome.
Appreciate your super chat.
Thank you very much, Smitty.
All right, later.
Yes, sir.
Ron Navy dropping yet another $20 holler saying, I am Smitty's sugar daddy. He says,
Alert. Super chat alert.
Keep the sugar coming, Ronnie. Keep the sugar coming. Ron extends the show. for 2 more minutes so you can thank Ron. He's all your sugar daddies, to be honest with you. He just bought you 2 more minutes. And so tell him to keep that sugar coming. Drop a sugar jar in the emoji in the chat. Thank you, Ron, for the $20 hauler. Per usual, Tyler Scott, 8 TDs, 900 yards, says Frank. That's bold, bro. That is bold, bold, bold. I traded Dameon Pierce for Breece Hall. I love it. I mean, Breece Hall's a second to third round pick, and maybe he drops to round 3, and that's fine. I scoop him up, but Dameon Pierce is not a third rounder. You know, as much as we love him, he's not a third rounder. We love him. He's a great value. He's a great value. I love him at round 6, but there's a big difference, bro. So scoop that up all day long. Jeremy, 1 QB start, 8 Dynasty offered 1.7, 1.9, 1.12 for the 1.2. I have Walker, 1.7, 1.9, 1.12 for the 1.2. If that's a rookie, you're talking about a rookie draft, I would take Gibbs over. I don't care about how many. You could. If this is a rookie draft, I would give up the 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, 1.10, 1.11. If I had all those picks, I'd give them all up for Bijan or Gibbs. If we're talking about, something else, it's a dynasty and it's like a startup, then hell no am I getting rid of the 1.7, 1.9, 1.12 for the 2. But that can't possibly be what you're saying. So it would have to be the rookie pick. It would allow me to get Charbonnet. Look, you need Charbonnet, but I'm not giving up Jahmyr Gibbs, my man. You know, you're trying to get Charbonnet and you're giving up Jahmyr Gibbs. You're giving up Jahmyr Gibbs. This is near take-a-lap material, Jeremy. If I had a Gibbs card, I'd almost take it away. You know, because... Hold on. I'd almost take it away, Jeremy, because you're literally giving away Gibbs so you can get Charbonnet. I love Charbonnet, but you can't get rid of Gibbs. Absolutely not. This is, you know what, I love you, pal, but this is take a lap. Don't think of it like a good thing. I'm helping you out. Okay, I'm sending you on a lap. All right, now I'm out of here. Appreciate you all. I'll see you all. I guess we're not out. I guess we're not out. Pour some sugar on me. Love that song. I'm not pouring sugar on you, Ron. But we will give you 2 more minutes. We will give you 2 more minutes.
Alert. Super chat alert.
No sugar pouring on this show, pal. This is a family show. Or at least, if it's not a family show, we all have families. Def Leppard. Yeah, Def Leppard was... Def Leppard. Was Def Leppard the one with the one-arm drummer? The one-arm drummer? Def Leppard? Wasn't that the one-arm drummer? I think it was. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in, says Mile High. Can't get rid of Gibbs. Yeah, you can't. It's take a lap material. Jeremy, I still appreciate you, but I need to take away Bijan cards, Jahmyr Gibbs cards across the board. Does Smitty's family think he's on drogas? No, I don't think so. Oh, the doc's calling in. What's up, Doc?
What's going on, Smitty? How you been?
I'm good, bro. How are you doing?
Man, I'm blessed. I just left the gym. I see I caught you on the tail end of your show.
Yeah.
But when I saw the title, I'll be honest with you, man, I almost dropped my weight.
Yeah, well, I mean, but in the title, I made sure not to make it clickbaity. I said panic or buy.
Right.
Panic or buy.
Right.
Because that is the topic.
Right.
People are going to want to panic.
Right. Let me also refrain this. I saw the question marks too, and once again, I said, let me call into the show, man, and just let you know, I saw you out in Vegas, man. Looks like you had a great time.
We did, Doc. Did you get a chance to watch the show yet, or are you calling in for a real quick Cliff Note version?
Well, no, I was just going to ask you. I'm just now getting into the show. But just really quickly, just so you can sum it up, what's the main gist with Breece Hall? Do you think he'll be ready week 1, or are we looking at a guy who we're looking at maybe if he goes on the PUP list, if he does that, will he be ready to go after week 6? I believe is that how they do the
No,
PUP
we
week 6?
first of all, let's not even go there. But it's week 4. It's week 4. But this is not.
Week 4.
This is the PUP list. The reserve PUP list is different from this PUP list. Okay, so
Okay.
This list has nothing to do with that list. This list is basically they get more bodies, to try and sit there and say who we want to keep. We want to look at this guy more. It's like an opportunity to like taxi squad and like fantasy in a way, when you look at it from that perspective. But this is what I'll say. This is what I'll say in relation to your question. Okay. Yesterday we went on and said Isaiah Pacheco landed on the PUP list. Okay. That was yesterday. And I came out and said, this means nothing. It's the PUP list. And by the way, Ron dropped another $20 holler and said, give the doc more time. So we're doing that. We're doing that right now. Ron is a maniac. Ron, appreciate you. Ron to the moon.
Appreciate you, Ron.
But Doc, the PUP list, when Pacheco landed on it yesterday, I said this means nothing. It means nothing. We're in July. The PUP list, you can get taken off at any moment. Sometimes a player goes on it for 3 days. 2 days, 3
That's
days.
correct.
There's advantages to having this player like off to the side, and you're looking at other players and you get more time. Pacheco, this was yesterday. Pacheco, running back Isaiah Pacheco, hand labrum, was seen practicing at training camp Wednesday. So it's like it's Breece Hall's fine. There's no setback that I've heard of. He could be on the PUP for 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, 5 days. And why have him there, or why have him not on the PUP when he's still, maybe rehabbing, which is not an alarming thing. He's still trying to keep his body healthy. ETN did all of his rehab the entire season during the year. He said, I'm going to do my rehab the same way I did in the offseason just to make sure my foot doesn't have any sort of like, recidivism or anything like that. So Pacheco, Breece Hall, this PUP list is nothing. I had people DMing me like crazy, Doc, all day long saying, oh, well, where are we ranking him now? How far do I drop him down? Is he out for 6 weeks? And I get not everybody, knows what the PUP means right now. And I understand that's why the show's here. So I'm not saying anybody should have known all that or whatever, but bro, everybody's going nuts right now, or they were saying that Breece Hall, I guess we miscalculated this one. I had so many of those kind of comments. I guess we miscalculated this one. Smitty, so where are we moving him down to now? Or am I avoiding him altogether? As if there's some determination being made because he was put on the PUP, the active PUP list. That's what I'm saying. Pacheco was active. He was at the practice facility practicing. He was on the active PUP. The reserve PUP heading into the season is where you'd miss 4 games. So, yeah, don't be concerned at all. So the gist of the show today, other than we went down a rabbit hole with Barkley and running backs for like an hour and a half, but the whole gist of the show today was designed to say, hey, let everyone and their mother freak out about this. Let his ADP fall into the 3rd round, which, Doc, I can almost guarantee you that he's fallen to the 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. And drafting Breece Hall as your 3rd drafted player is a lot more powerful than drafting him as your 2nd. So look at it.
I was actually going to say that. If he does fall, I want that.
Hell yeah.
I really would. I would love to have Breece Hall fall to the 3rd. And then, I'm going to do some more reading. This is all new. I'm also going to go back and watch the show. But if he fell to the 3rd round, that's a match made in heaven.
Definitely, bro.
Yeah, I would love to get Breece Hall 3rd round. I would be tempted, depending on how I started, 1st and 2nd round. If I might even go 3-headed monster at RB. If I would be tempted to do that for Breece Hall in that situation. Yeah. But all right, appreciate you, man. I know you got to go. Thank you for having me on, and I'll talk to you again soon. And everybody, have a safe day. Stay blessed.
Rhino, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Doc. Appreciate you. Scared Scott, you got a short amount of time because I'm on the way out. Rhino, appreciate your super chat. Ron Navy, appreciate all your super chats. Go ahead, Scared Scott. What are you scared about today?
As I said yesterday, the whole them looking at Cook. They're looking at Cook now. The PUP list.
You scared? You scared, Scott?
I'm scared. I think you have to fade him. And the last 3 redrafts I've been in, I've
Scott.
been in the 1.7.
Say it again.
and
Say it
Hall
again.
has
Say it again. Fade.
last-
You think I should fade Breece Hall now? The fact that they looked into the fact that they looked into Cook.
In redrafts, he's going right around 3.5, 3.6.
Do you think I should
It has been.
should I roll back all my Breece Hall content now, or should I do it slowly so no one notices that I'm jumping off the ship? Should I just rip it like off? Yeah, just slowly. Just don't rip it off like a Band-Aid. Just try and like slowly back up. Okay.
That's it. No,
Okay.
rip it off like a Band-Aid. Yeah, just rip it off like a Band-Aid. He needs to go the back end of the curve.
Kind of like this.
Finish him.
Actually, I'll leave you on. I'll leave you on for a second, Scott. All right, Scott. What else you got? 'Cause this is a relevant conversation.
That was it.
That was it. Okay.
That was it.
Hey, Scott. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something?
Red flags all over the place on Hall.
No, he's 8 foot tall, Scott.
Player.
Scott, appreciate you.
All right, take care.
Finish him. Call terminated.
On that note, thank you, Ron Navy, for extending the show over and over and over again. I'm going to leave you with this.
Breece Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Breece. He's Breece.
He does a hell of a job. A hell of a job. A hell of a job.
Breece Hall, please report to the moon.
Κοιτάς χαλεπαγιό.
Get Breece.
Thank you all for the super chats tonight, especially Ron Navy, dropping some wads all over the screen all day and night long. Rhino, appreciate your super chat. Ron. Oren dropping his $2 holler. Ron. Isaac, appreciate you. Ron dropping that earlier massive $99 wad on screen for 2 bold predictions he wants on the board, but he's going to bank them for now and give us the bold predictions later. Eric, appreciate you. Eric, did you, I sent you a DM with a trade. Eric, did we ever get your stuff resolved? Eric, did you ever call in? Did Eric call in? I forget if Eric called in. Eric, you can call in real quick if you can dial it fast enough. But he said he sent me a DM. I'm going to look for it, Eric, and try and get to you and answer the question. But I just don't know where the DM was sent. Salty, appreciate you. Orange, appreciate you. JCIM, appreciate you. James dropping a $5 hauler earlier. Pal Derby dropping a 2 wad on screen. Killas dropping a 20 wad. Isaac dropping a 20 wad and a $10 earlier, I believe, too. Overcome. Zach, my boy. Isaac. Cheryl, appreciate your super chat as well. Eric, Gray, and Breda. I did get to that one. Okay, this is making sure I got to that one. Rhino with a super chat. Appreciate you. Smoke and Andres with 2 $1 haulers there. I don't know if you guys asked a question. Space Ricky. Overcome. Ed Rock or E Rock or whatever your name was. Overcome. Spacula. James again in the building. True Penguin and Deckard with the first super chat. And I promise the first super chat always gets a standing ovation, so I owe Deckard that.
Let's go, mashed potatoes.
I will see you all later. Appreciate you. Oh, Eric, are you still here? Eric, are you still here? I know I said I was going to leave. Eric, are you still here? Let me make sure Eric's still here. Because he said he sent it on Twitter. Let's see here. Messages. Eric, here it is. Okay, Eric. Smitty, I got a question. Someone offered me Pollard in a league, one running back league for Calvin Ridley. Current roster. Let me see. Eric, you still here? All right, Eric, I'm leaving you a voice memo. The show is still live, so if you want to watch the show at the very, very end, 2 hours and 48 minutes into the show, still rolling. Everyone's watching me leave you this message, but I apologize. I didn't know where to look for this. Now I know it's on Twitter. I'm leaving you a voice message. And the question you asked me, Eric, was someone offered me Pollard in a one running back league for Calvin Ridley. If you've got wide receivers for days, I would definitely take this offer. And honestly, I mean, value-wise, I have Pollard ranking above Calvin Ridley across the board in pretty much any format. Dynasty doesn't matter because Ridley's an older player. So I would say no matter what in general, I'd rather have Tony Pollard. He might fall to the 3.1, 3.2, 3.3 territory because of Derrick Henry's rise, but maybe Breece Hall's decline moves Pollard back into round 2, and we've got this musical chairs of running backs in the second and third round because of all this chaos going on. But at the end of the day, Ridley I love. I love him, bro. But you're talking about I don't know if this is redraft or dynasty. I don't think you say. Either way, Pollard's getting drafted above Ridley, but not by a ton. I love Ridley, but I go Pollard. You know, and I'll add this, that it depends on if like you're loaded at RB. Like I have no details here. It said media was denied or whatever. You might have been trying to attach a screenshot, but I think I think you wouldn't be entertaining this if you couldn't use the running back. 8 p.m. Eastern is much better. Great news, says Matthew. Appreciate you. All right, I'll see you later, Eric. Appreciate you. To the moon, pal. Now I'm really officially out of here. I'm hitting the Breece Hall button. Get Breeced, and then I'm gone. Discord link is go to thefantasyfootballshow.com, and in the very top banner there'll be a Discord link in the very, very top header. Go to thefantasyfootballshow.com. That is my content site. So if you go to about like the top right corner, I believe, on desktop or mobile or whatever, in the very top corner, you should see a Discord link. And while you're there, go subscribe to all this amazing content at thefantasyfootballshow.com. Now I'm officially gone. See you all later.
Get Breece.